short for the Mets' stay in Florida, and even the fans can sense it. Things are starting to get serious. Just 6 games to go until opening day. As baseball is on the horizon. Yeah, the rain will stop falling in New York eventually, but it's a bright sunny day in Florida. At Digital Domain Park in Port St. Lucie, spring training baseball brought to you by City of the New York Mets. Take on the St. Louis Cardinals. And a pleasant good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Port St. Lucie. Gary Cohen, Keith Hernandez with you. Ralph Connor joins us a little bit later on. And there is a bevy of activity here at Digital Domain Park and its environs today. The game in the stadium here between the Mets and the Cardinals, and on one of the backfields, a minor league game involving the Mets and the Cardinals, in which 2 of the most important figures for the Mets, both Jose Reyes and Johan Santana, will be playing in that minor league game.
Well, all eyes on Jose Reyes, of course, with the thyroid problem, the hypothyroid, and he's getting back into activity. They're playing a minor league game over there, as Gary said. He's going to be batting in every inning, and you better believe that people are watching him and seeing how he's responding, getting his stroke back. They don't know if he's going to be ready for opening day. My feeling is not, but we'll see. It's progress that he's got going right now. At least he's out there in the general activities.
And he will be only batting and running to first base. He will not be running beyond first, and he won't be playing the field. Baby steps still for Reyes. As for Santana, his final tune-up before his opening day start.
It hasn't been a great spring for Santana, although he says he feels great. He's working on his slider really predominantly this spring. Remember, last year with the elbow, he couldn't throw that slider, so he's really concentrated on that. I think when the bell rings, he's one of the pitchers that you can look at and say, okay, Santana, he's had a bad spring. You know, when the season starts and it's over, he'll have his numbers.
And we'll bring you a lot of the Reyes and Santana action from the backfield today. Meanwhile, on the main field, Oliver Perez makes the start, but of more concern to the Mets is their bullpen. 6 days until opening day, 7 spots in the bullpen, and only 2 are nailed down. You've got a bevy of relievers competing for the 8th inning. Now they're even talking about Pedro Feliciano pitching the 8th, keeping another left-hander, Raul Valdez, who's on loan from the Mexican League. You don't usually see this kind of uncertainty this late in the spring.
Well, the best laid plans of mice and men, and with the group that they had, that relief corps they had to start spring training, they have not pitched well, and thus this camp is wide open.
And so the Mets will try and narrow it down a little bit further today. It'll be Oliver Perez for the Mets. Chris Carpenter, the Cardinals ace, gets his final spring tune-up. All the action coming up from here and beyond on SNY. Oliver Perez getting things underway for the Mets. Gets a swing and miss from Felipe Lopez as we get started.
Well, you see Ollie's numbers, not sterling, and that's a lot of walks, 8 walks in 15. And that's his problem right there, Gary. Not getting that arm speed, rushing, and you always, I feel like a broken record here. When he works right-handers, he likes to pitch in. When he misses outside and up that badly, that's not a good sign.
Ollie was scheduled to pitch yesterday. The Mets had a split squad. He was going to pitch here, and Jonathan Neese was going to pitch the road game. But when the road game against the Astros got canceled, they moved Neese to the home game, and Ollie pushed back a day. So it's been a week since he's gone to the mound. So not exactly what you'd like leading up to the season. Not really getting into the kind of rhythm that you'd like him to be in.
You know, Neese has had a nice spring, and he's young. He's going to have his ups and downs, but he seems to be more composed and pitching better than the group. Pelfrey's just had a tough time. Obviously, Maine has had a tough time, and Perez has had a tough time. That does not bode well.
Here's the Cardinals starting lineup. Matt Holliday has made the trip here today. Albert Pujols was here day before yesterday. Holliday's been battling an oblique injury this spring, missed 12 games, but trying to rush himself and get ready for opening day. Cardinals were open against Cincinnati on Monday. 2-2 to Lopez, and he lifts one toward the gap in right center field. Back goes Matthews. Wind blowing out that way, and it's off the warning track. Lopez to second, and he'll pull in with a double. Well, the way the wind is blowing left to right today, I thought that ball might leave the yard, but Lopez will settle for a 2-base hit.
Well, Lopez going the other way, and it's been a pretty steady blow of the direction of the wind from the north. Whenever that wind is blowing out to right field, folks, that means it's a little bit chilly, and we got a little bit of a north wind. And it's been that way all spring, and the Lexus Mets defense, so you can see Cora at shortstop, 54 starts last season because of the injuries, obviously, to Jose Reyes, who we're going to monitor during the game.
By the way, we said that Reyes was not going to play the field. Late bulletin. Mets have changed on the fly. Reyes is going to play 3 innings in the field in that minor league game and take 5 at bats.
Extra. Read all about it.
And there he is, just coming in from the field after the top of the first inning over in that minor league game.
Well, I think they're just going to be a little more careful, Gary, because of the hamstring. I think if his legs weren't an issue, I think they might get him out there better. But they got to be concerned about that hammy.
Brandon Ryan fouls it back. Otherwise, it's really just about stamina at this point after having sat on his couch for 3 weeks. This is now, what, day 7 since his return as he gets set for his first at bat. Kevin Burkhardt, by the way, is on the back field there and will be bringing us reports of Reyes's at bats. Brendan Ryan will be the everyday shortstop for the Cardinals. Hit .292 last year. And the curveball swung and missed. 1-2.
Well, Perez has been throwing 2 types of changeups, and one is the John Franco changeup that he was taught when John was down in spring earlier, but he's having a tough time with that pitch. So he has to have an off-speed pitch against the right-handers. And what concerns me with Ollie is his velocity, Gary. He doesn't have the velocity he had when he won 15, 2-3 years ago.
Along the right field line, a long run for Frank Core, and it lands foul as the Cardinal bullpen scrambles to get out of the way. And again, that wind was coaxing that ball over toward the line. And here is Jose Reyes striding to the plate, and Kevin is over there.
Kind of a late move, Gary, as you pointed out, that he was inserted into the field. Didn't have a chance, though. Santana went 1-2-3 in the first. He had a 1 unassisted and then 2 flyouts to right field. So Jose will get 5 at bats today. And he took live BP yesterday, but did not run. So he will, again, this might have changed, but as of about noon, the plan was just to have him run to first base, no further.
We'll see if he hits one down the right field line, where he decides to stop as Oliver Perez tries to pick Felipe Lopez off second. So we'll bring you the game in the stadium, and we'll give you a shot at looking at Reyes in his first at bat.
And by the way, Gary, the big right-handers Adam Ottavino for the Cardinals. Saw him earlier in the spring pitch against the Mets.
One of their best pitching prospects. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Kevin. This is the first at bat that Reyes has taken against an opposing player since May 20th of last year.
No, you're right. That's exactly the case.
I mean, he played in the intra-squad game here before the thyroid issue came up. Remember, he hit a triple his first time up. In fact, on the first pitch he saw, but had never gotten into a game against an opposing team.
And this is different because he faced Dylan G and Mike Antonini yesterday. Ottavino throws hard.
That's a good cut right there.
Here's a little play-by-play there,
well,
Kevin.
Deep to center, and Jose goes to first, now making the cut and jogging. Look, that would have been an easy triple in Citi Field, but he caught up to that one, hit it deep. So Jose, I guess, gets credit for a double on that one.
So
guys.
He's already gone against the plan in that he did not stop at first base.
I was talking to him earlier, and he said, "Look, I'm just whatever they want me to do." I think it's I think it's pretty clear. Look at him.
What do you want me to do, right? I mean,
he trotted.
That's really hilarious. And they're not going to let him run the bases from that point.
Can I tell you one thing? How thrilling for those minor league kids.
Not for the kid who just gave up the double. Nice short hop pick by David Wright, and he throws out Brendan Ryan for the first out.
Nice backhand by Dave. Little short hop. Looks the runner back.
I feel like we're doing a double header here.
Why?
Oh, 2 games going on at the same time.
Of course.
Maybe we could do this when the regular season starts. We could have like a wiffle ball game in the parking lot, and I could go out there. Just a thought.
Well, I was thinking if we played the schedule this way, it would only mean 81 work days.
How's your basement, Kev? Did you get that all fixed?
Not quite.
Oh, what a pain.
Good times. One thing, guys, before I let you go on this, for Jose, As far as running the bases goes, he yesterday after live BP did like the ovals, where they set up the cones, but he still hasn't really done that hard cut. So, right now they just wanted to see him get out of the box down to first, and as you saw, he obviously jogged and made the cut anyway. So, but we'll see. He might do some more running after his stint here in this game, so we'll keep tabs on that too.
So is the plan now for him to bat in 5 straight innings, Kevin?
Yes.
Here's Ryan Ludwig, who has homered each of the last 2 days. Remember, here on Sunday, he fouled 2 balls off his leg in the midst of a 12-pitch at bat against Mike Pelfrey, and then hit a bomb of a home run down the left field line. Came out of the game after that because his shin was barking, played again yesterday, and hit another home run. So I guess it's not hurting too much.
He can he's the best player in the game. Come on.
Talking about Ludwig.
Oh, Ludwig. I'm sorry. Forgive me.
Albert's pretty good too.
And he's not
here today.
Not here today.
Ludwig, 22 home runs last year, a down year for him, an injury-plagued season. He burst on the scene so late after 9 years in the minors as he fouls this one off the right side. The wind should blow that back into the crowd. Ludwig spent 9 years in the minor leagues, so even though he hasn't been around a long time, he's almost 32 years old.
There's Mark McGuire, hitting coach for the Cardinals, and I think Tony La Russa had a lot to do with that. Tony La Russa and Mark were very close. It was a manager-player relationship. I wouldn't doubt if Tony was the one that coaxed Mark out of retirement.
McGuire had begun to work with some hitters on the side the last couple of years, notably Skip Schumacher and Matt Holliday. As Ludwig lifts this one to right, the wind chases it back to the warning track at the wall, and it's gone. It's going to be one of those days on any ball hit out to right field. Ludwig homers for the 3rd straight day, his 5th of the spring, and it's 2-0 St. Louis.
So I never understand pitchers, and I wish Ralph was here. I know Ralph is right between us right now. He's coming in later. But when blowing out like this, why would you pitch a right-hand hitter away? It's just it just doesn't compute. This ball, they want it in. That's what it is. See, look at the mistake. Clear across the other side of the plate. Look at Barajas having to bring his hand all the way set up inside, and it's where is it? Outer half, bell tie. That's what Ollie has to really be careful. He really has to focus on right-handers. There you go. If you're going to miss in.
Especially to this guy, because if he gets his arms extended, he can hit it a mile. Holliday, who had a tremendous stretch drive for the Cardinals last year after the trade from Oakland. And he hits it well to center field. Matthews back, taking a look at the wall, and that ball is out of here, halfway up the screen. Back-to-back home runs for Ludwig and Holliday. First home run of the spring for Holliday to make it 3-0 St. Louis.
Well, the wind had no effect on that one. And he let go with one hand on that ball. That was almost over the backdrop. 410. Look at this. Let go with one hand. That's strong. Gotta check those balls.
Well,
man.
Time to rub up a fresh one. So back-to-back homers, and now Alan Craig will step in. The Cal Berkeley product, who is fighting for one of the last jobs on the Cardinal bench. And he lines one, and that's another extra base hit, the 4th of the inning for St. Louis. So after Lopez hit one to the fence in right field for a double, Ludwig and Holliday homer, and now Craig hooks a double down the left field line. And it's not going well for Oliver Perez, and by extension for Dan Warthen.
Off-speed pitch and too much of the plate. Wants the changeup away. It's right down the pipe. And they got him off the end of the bat. Now that's the difference between that ball being a double down the line, and if he had it on the outside corner, he'd hit a ground ball somewhere off the end of the bat.
Now David Freese. And Ollie misses badly. All spring long, the Mets have been downplaying the results of their starting pitchers, talking about how they'll all be ready on opening day. But the results have been brutal to watch at times this spring. slowly hit. David Wright checks the runner. Gets the second out. Now Joe Mather will step in. Mather, like Craig, is fighting for a bench spot with St. Louis. Nick Stavanoa, who's not here today, is also in that mix. Mather had a lost season last year. He's 27 years old, and he needs for his time to come now. Had 3 surgeries on his left wrist between the end of the 08 season and the end of the 09 season, so he played very little after having a fairly significant stint with the Cardinals 2 years ago as a pinch hitter.
Ralph, can I borrow your Cardinal book there? You're not supposed to be here, Ralph. So shh. You're invisible.
He's the stealth broadcaster.
Thank you, Ralph.
We're bringing him out of the bullpen.
You can get it back, Ralph, when you come in. I left mine downstairs. I'm a complete idiot.
There's the good off-speed pitch from Ollie, and it's 0-2.
This is an 0-2 pitch, and that's the off-speed pitch. You're right, Gary. But that's up, and it's just Ollie does not have the command of it. It's tough when you learn a new pitch on a big league level.
Well, he's been a fastball slider pitcher for most of his career.
Well, he's been able to get away with it because of the fact that he's thrown so hard over his career. And, you know, he's lost a little bit of that heat, and that makes a world of difference when you're a one-speed pitcher.
Already 25 pitches in this first inning. Well, he had been a guy earlier in his career, and even when he first came to the Mets in 06, who could throw 94 miles an hour, but we don't see that much anymore from Ollie. Now he's been more in the 89 to 91 range. Ahead on Mather, 0-2. And the fastball away.
See, that's 88 miles an hour, you know, and Ollie used to throw 94. And there's your difference. That's a considerable amount of miles per hour. You know, when you lose your velocity, too, you lose the bite on your braking stuff. Everything slows down, Gary.
And you wonder why that is. I mean, Ollie's 28 years old. You wouldn't think that he would be losing that kind of velocity. He has not had any kind of arm issues. He had the problem with the knee last year.
And everything's out over the plate.
Well, there's the career of Oliver Perez. Peaked in 2004, his first full major league season, but it's been a struggle for him ever since. Although 07, he was certainly terrific when he won 15 games for the Mets.
He was, no question.
But then he went backwards in 08, and last year was a foreshortened season, made just 14 starts because of the knee injury. And Mather lifts one to left field. Should be playable for Bay, and that retires the side. But a long ball inning for the St. Louis Cardinals as Ryan Ludwig and Matt Holliday go back-to-back. 4 extra base hits in the inning, and the Cardinals put up a 3 spot as the Mets come to bat. Cardinals ace Chris Carpenter pitching this afternoon for St. Louis. Pitching to Alex Cora leading off in the bottom of the first. And the curveball in for a strike, 0-2.
Well, Chris, one of the best pitchers in the game. And you can see he's had his difficulties this spring. A lot of strikeouts, no walks. Notice that. There's the big curveball. Won 17 games last year. Missed most of 2000. Almost literally all of 2007 and 8 with shoulder and elbow problems. He bounced back last year.
Oh, and Cora gets drilled right on the hip. That hurt.
How do you know?
Because he winced. Oof.
Yeah, looked like he got him.
So Cora down to first base. For my money, as you look at the Geico starting lineup for the Mets today, and pretty much the opening day unit there, although the battle still goes on between Matthews and Pagan for the opening day center field job, and we don't know whether Reyes will be ready to play shortstop, but otherwise the same group that will be out there on Monday when the Mets take on the Marlins at Citi Field in the opener. Here's Luis Castillo with Cora aboard. Castillo's had himself a nice spring with the bat. For my money, Keith, I do not understand how Chris Carpenter did not win the Cy Young last year. I know he missed 5 weeks early in the season, but he wound up making 28 starts. He led the league in ERA. He had the lowest home run ratio of any starter in the league. He averaged less than 2 walks per 9 innings. Tim Lincecum led the league in strikeouts, had 4 more starts than Carpenter, but won 2 fewer games. And if you go by whip, you know, hits and walks per 9 innings, Carpenter was better than Lincecum there.
I thought Wainwright had a better year than Lincecum.
Really?
Yes, I liked Wainwright's year.
Well, I'll give you this. Carpenter and Wainwright are the best 1-2 tandem in the league.
And that was what was shocking last year in the playoffs when they went in the Dodgers. The Dodgers beat the 1-2, and that was the end of the Cardinals right there. When they beat their first 2 guys, the Cardinals were toast.
Didn't help that Holiday dropped that ball in left field either.
Did he ever say that he lose it in the lights?
He said he lost it in the lights.
Yeah, and it can happen. It was a mid-afternoon game, late afternoon, a little dusk. They turned the lights on. I can see it.
Well, he's not a great outfielder anyway, but he generally catches balls that are hit to him.
And this is a Cardinal team. It hasn't got a lot of guys that cover ground out there in the corner outfield positions. They need a center fielder of the caliber of Beltran to roam out there, Willie Mays, etc.
3-2 now to Castillo. Well, they have Colby Rasmus as their center fielder, a young guy who does cover some ground, but I don't think he's quite in the category of the guys you're talking about. Three and 2 to Castillo. Cora runs in ball 4, and so the Mets have their first 2 on against Carpenter.
Well, I know you folks are so interested in the game. We'll get this defense out of the way in a heartbeat. That's brought to you by Home Depot. As you can see, 133 games last year. Lubbock made 1 error. Okay, it's an outfielder. He shouldn't make a lot of errors in the outfield. So, but you know, he doesn't have a lot of range out there. He's the guy that's supposed to drive in runs.
Well, here's David Wright, who's been swinging the bat very well. Can really see a difference this spring in Wright and the way he is driving the ball. And that was his goal going into this spring, to stop feeling for the ball and to use his legs more, and at least so far it's working for him.
Well, he definitely was feeling for the ball. I know Ralph's going to come in and talk about that. Last year I think he lost his confidence, and he's back to taking the big cut. A little leg kick.
Well, if you're going to strike out 140 times, you might as well do it taking a big cut.
Well, I'd like to see him cut that down. Beyond, he shouldn't be a 140 strikeout guy. He shouldn't be a 100 strikeout guy.
And the curveball in for a call, 3rd strike. And Carpenter gets Wright looking for the first out.
Big hook. Watch David's front shoulder. Oop, that's the buckle my world. That's a heck of a curve. That'll get a lot of hitters. Old Uncle Charlie. Uncle Charlie's better than a slider because it breaks down. A slider tends to be more flat, Gary, and you can kind of, as a hitter's eye, you can gauge where it's going to break on a flat plane. That hook, it breaks down, and if you've got a great hook off the table, you just got to just anticipate, you know, that split second in your mind. If you swing at it, it's just got to be where you think it's going to break to. It happens that quick. So whenever you hit a curveball, a good one out of the ballpark, it's always fun because, oh, I guessed right.
Of course, curveball like that, it may need a promotion from Uncle Charlie to Lord Charles.
Yeah.
And Jason Bay takes the curveball off the plate, 2-0. Well, there's Johan Santana out on field 7, pitching in the minor league game. And the rationale for Santana pitching in a minor league game rather than in a major league game as base swings and misses initially was that they didn't want him facing the Marlins, who the Mets are playing tomorrow, which would be 5 days before opening day, but he's going a day early as it turns out anyway. the funny thing is that Josh Johnson's going to face the Mets on opening day, and he is going to pitch against the Mets tomorrow here at Digital Domain Park.
That's a great matchup for opening day. And of course the Marlins have a pretty good starting rotation. Ricky Nolasco having a terrific spring. I think he's just coming off a 7 1/3 inning stint, but he gave the first 16 batters he retired and before he gave up a hit.
Same Ricky Nolasco who struck out 17 in his last start last year. As you watch Santana working, where do you fall on that question about, you know, a pitcher facing the team he's going to face opening day? Do you care whether he, I mean, as a hitter, does it help you if you face him like the Mets are going to face Josh Johnson tomorrow and then face him again in the game that counts Monday?
In spring training, when I haven't got my swing, I'd rather face the Scribinis than the ace, you know, and get a guy with mediocre stuff so I can kind of feel comfortable than face a guy with great stuff.
But do you gain anything facing a guy back to back like that?
I just, you should, every time in division, these hitters, Met players, anybody, teams you play in division, you should be quite familiar with the entire staff. You face them enough. They play 19 games against each other.
Well, the Mets are a little too familiar with Mr. Johnson. They haven't had a whole lot of fortune against.
Let me tell you, that guy could pitch.
3-2 to Jason Bay, and he fouls off another one. An interesting chat with Jason today, talking about growing up in Canada and watching baseball as you watch Santana on the other field. And Jason said they got mostly Seattle Mariners games where he lived in British Columbia, but he was not a Mariners fan. He was an Eric Davis fan, and in fact it's because of Eric Davis that he's now wearing number 44. He wore number 38 in Pittsburgh, but when he went to Boston, Kurt Schilling had 38, so 44 was available, and he snapped it up in a tribute to his childhood hero. That's a pretty good one to have.
Well, you know, I always had a 7 on my back because of Mickey Mantle, and I would never wear a 7 because I wasn't in his class.
Santana threw his, I guess that's his second inning of work over on field 7, and we'll give you snippets from over there. Catch Reyes is next at bat as well when he comes up. This will be the 9th pitch of the at bat to Jason Bay, and he chops one to the left side. Freeze gets the out at second. No way Lopez is going to throw out Bay, so they settle for the force play, and the Mets have first and third with 2 out.
Well, the old Baltimore chop right there. I don't know why they call it a Baltimore chop. I have to ask Ralph that when he comes on.
I think that goes back to John McGraw.
Oh, okay.
Ralph will tell us next time, though. Because I know John McGraw managed the Baltimore team before he became the manager of the Giants around the turn of the century. That, not this last one, but the one before.
I'm eagerly awaiting Ralph's appearance.
Daniel Murphy takes the curveball for a strike. Murph's been swinging the bat much better the last couple of days. When we saw the Mets here on Sunday, he had 3 bullets that were all outs. Then yesterday in Jupiter, he had a couple of hits.
Still a little more crouched, isn't he? A little more set. I've been on that road. We talked about it last time. When I faced a pitcher who had a funky motion, or a knuckleball pitcher, I'd stand more straight up. And I would stand more straight up, and I would feel more vulnerable inside. And when I saw Murph standing up straight, that he was too quick, opening up, and worried in. Now, get more crouched, you feel like you're more ready to attack.
Well, this looks much more like him.
Yes.
And he hits another ball hard, and he has a base hit to drive in a run. Cora's in to score. Bay goes to third.
And Daniel Murphy's starting to heat up as we get closer to opening day. It's now 3-1. Meanwhile, we go back to field 7 and Jose Reyes for his second turn at bat. They're keeping us on our toes here, Keith.
Kev, you there?
I am.
So tell us about what you've seen from Santana so far.
He looks good. He only had 1 ball that was hit hard. It was a shot to right field that was caught, I guess, about the warning track. Other than that, a bunch of choppers. He got out of the last inning. Actually, Reyes has had 1 chance in the field. It was a little chop that he tried to barehand and bobbled. So I would have called it an error. I think he even probably could have made the play with his glove. But here, this one to right, and that's going to be caught. So Reyes officially 1 for 2, and you see he still takes that turn towards second.
All right, thanks, Kevin. Ludwig over toward the line. And back into the corner to make the grab against Frank Court to end the inning. Mets going to run back on Daniel Murphy's 2-out RBI hit. 3-1 St. Louis. Shine will agree to disagree as they debate the Final Four and take on all the latest news and rumors coming out of Mets and Yankees camp on Loudmouths, presented by Geico, weeknights at 6 p.m. only on SNY. Jason LaRue leads off the second inning against Oliver Perez and hammers one foul. Yadier Molina still laid up with an oblique injury, although Molina took batting practice in Cardinals camp this morning for the first time since hurting that a week ago, but they still don't think Molina is going to be ready for opening day. So LaRue will probably be the opening day catcher for St. Louis. One and one to the veteran LaRue, who hit .240 for the Cardinals as their backup last year. Thought the Fu Manchu was a little out of style.
Al Hrabosky, the Mad Hungarian.
Well, Al doesn't have his Fu Manchu anymore.
No, Al. I mean, we laugh about it now. Al and I were good friends. But when Vern Rapp came over and when Red Schoendienst was fired after the 1976 season, Vern Rapp came in '77, and it was from Cincinnati with all that Ron Plaza who ran the minor leagues, and no one could have a long hair.
Bob Howsam was the
GM,
right?
And and he had the guys on the big league level backing it up.
LaRue down swinging, and Perez has his first strikeout.
Well, Al and Bake McBride were the last of the holdouts that cut the good breaking ball down, not a strike, but a good breaking ball. They were the last two holdouts of guys that cut their sideburns and or shaved their facial hair. Al was the first one to relinquish, but when he came to after he did the first day he came, he was like so wounded. It's like he lost his,
like Samson.
Yes, it was just oh gosh, it was like poor Al. Bake McBride was the last with the mutton chops.
Right.
Bake held out for a long time. They wound up trading him to the Phillies that year for Tom Underwood, the left-hand pitcher, and Bake went on to have great years with Philly.
Now, are you saying that Bake McBride was traded because of the mutton chops?
Absolutely. No question. No question.
Wow.
Bake came in and shaved his sideburns, and Vern Rapp looked at him around a bunch of team members and said not enough and walked away from him. So Bake grew it back.
Wow. Carpenter strikes out on the fastball, so Ollie has back-to-back strikeouts against the 8 and 9 hitters. It was a different era, wasn't it?
Well, Vern was, I think, the last, and it was, it was just not going to work anymore with the younger generation. I think that was, 60s was the beginning of a lot of changes, not only in sport but in our country.
Baseball caught up eventually.
Yes.
Here's Felipe Lopez, who hit one to the base of the right center field fence his first time up. Lopez had over 600 at bats last year playing for the Diamondbacks and the Brewers. It'll be interesting to see how much time he gets with the Cardinals this year. I mean, they have Skip Schumacher and Brendan Ryan penciled in as their double play combination, and David Freese, the rookie, playing third. But Lopez can be a very valuable player for St. Louis in the second go round with them. A switch hitter, and he tries to hold on the slider and apparently did so. 2-1. Up the middle, and Lopez is 2 for 2. So a 2-out single for Felipe Lopez. As we take a peek in on field 7 to Johan Santana as he takes them out for the third inning.
Shortstop, Brendan Ryan.
Kevin, what's the game plan here? How far is Santana supposed to go in this tune-up?
Well, he threw 83 pitches his last time out, so I think he's going to go around 100 here. Gare. I mean, I think that's the initial plan. See how he feels. He's been throwing pretty well today. His fastball a little bit up on location, but like I said, there's only been one hard hit ball. Reyes made an error, and Santana got out of a jam with a couple guys on third, got a couple of easy ground balls. So he's, his ball's moving well. He's thrown a couple real nice sliders so far, and he looks very comfortable.
Guess he probably didn't do a lot of work game planning the opposition for today's game.
Look at those, even the youngsters showing those stripes. I love those Cardinal stripes. That's a little too much exposure in those stripes. I used to show the very bottom of my top stripes where I would not show the top dark stripe. I would show right where that red started in the middle, and then the stripes on down, because they're so beautiful. It's part of the uniform.
You know, as we watch these two games simultaneously, it's almost like we're getting a side-by-side comparison of the two Met lefty starters. Santana on one side and Perez on the other.
Guy's totally catching Santana, by the way, in case not sure if you could see that in your shot.
It's coming inside. Let's see if he gets it there. Well, this kid's giving him a battle here.
Robinson. It's not Will Robinson, right?
It's not Mrs. Robinson, is it?
It's not Frank Robinson.
In the air to deep left field. They going back on the track right at the wall. It's out of here. Wow. And that was against the wind.
Yes,
Brendan Ryan with his second home run of the spring, the third home run given up in the first 2 innings by Oliver Perez, and it's 5-1 St. Louis.
Well, he struck out the 8th and 9th hitter. The 9th, of course, being the pitcher. And I bet you it's a fastball meant to be in, and it's out over the plate. Yep. And up.
Well, it's been a lost afternoon so far for Oliver Perez. Now he takes on Ryan Ludwig, who took him deep first time up. Well, Ludwig's getting himself ready for the season, right on schedule. Homering in 3 straight games now.
The guys over here at Cardinals have a runner on first after a leadoff single. Curious to see if Jose gets a chance to turn 2. He's still in the field.
Now, will they protect him by, say, not having him cover second on a steal attempt?
Is that kind of like wearing the red jersey when you're a quarterback?
I don't know. I'm wondering what his limitations are, considering he wasn't supposed to be playing the field at all today.
You got to get him out there sooner or later.
Ludwig swings and misses at a slider in the dirt. So 3 strikeouts in the inning for Oliver Perez, but in between, Brendan Ryan hits a 2-run homer. 3 home runs for the Cardinals, who lead 5-1 after 1.5. Gary Matthews Jr. leads off the home second against Chris Carpenter. Matthews having a nice spring as he and Angel Pagan have basically matched each other step for step in the battle to see who will get the bulk of the work in center field until Carlos Beltran's ready to return. And Jerry Manuel has said it may go down right to the last day. And I wonder whether one of them will win the job outright, or whether Jerry will utilize both of them and just see who gets a hot hand.
Well, he played a hot hand last year a lot, and almost to a point some of it was so trying to stay in the race with all the injuries that he ran the hot hand a lot last year and then burned out some people. I just don't know right now. It's just everything's so up in the air. Oh, tough play with that wind.
Battling the sun and the wind. Ryan hangs on for the out. Well, of course, there are going to be 2 questions here. One is, as you look at Ryan looking through the sunglasses for that pop-up, one is who's going to play now, and the other is who's going to stay later when Beltran comes back, because you can't imagine both of them being on the bench unless you reconfigured things in a completely different direction. Here's Rod Barajas. I mean, right now the Mets are going to be keeping one of those left-handed bats in Jacobs or Catalanotto or Carter. They'll be keeping Tatis. Barajas drives one deep toward the gap, and that'll split him and go to the wall. And Barajas into second base with a 1-out double. So Rod Barajas with his second extra base into the spring.
Oh, nice hitting. Got a pitch up. And you know what? You have to make a living. You can see that pitch, full extension. Nicely done.
So here's Oliver Perez, and he lifts the first one deep to right center. Back goes Ludwig. He has room to make the grab going away. Deep enough for Barajas to take third. So Oliver trying to take out some of his frustrations on the baseball. And hit one deep. So 2 out. Let's check back in with Kevin, who's watching Johan Santana.
Cardinals have 5 straight hits to lead off the 3rd inning against Johan. Guys, he's let up 3 runs, 1 double in there. And this is a hard shot. That's going to be another fair ball. That's going to be more extra bases for the Cardinals. It's going to play 2 more. It's going to make it 6 straight hits for the Cardinals. And actually, he's going to try for 3rd. Wish I could tell you who that was, but he's got a triple. So now the Cardinals have a 5-0 lead, 6 straight hits to start off the 3rd inning. And you know what? In this inning, just location. Johan's been really high, with especially his fastball. And after 2 innings, really nothing hit hard. A lot of solid contact for the Cardinals this inning, guys.
Here Alex Cora takes high. You know, you try not to get too excited about spring training results, positive or negative. But the day after day pounding that Mets starting pitching is taking, combined with the uncertainty regarding the bullpen, has really been relentless. Cora pops one in foul ground, and that lands beyond David Freese's reach. And, you know, you wonder as you watch this team just how concerned the Mets should be about what they're seeing from their pitching staff.
Well, this late in spring training, Gary, we're looking less than a week. Opening day. And all those spots open for anybody to go out and grab the brass ring and take it, and they got to be concerned.
I mean, the Mets offenses look good this spring, and they lead the National League in home runs for whatever that's worth, and their defense has been pretty good. But there have been very few breaks. I mean, normally at some point in the spring, somebody goes out and throws 5 shutout innings, but it just hasn't happened.
Nice block by LaRue.
LaRue keeps a run from scoring. 2-2 now to Cora. And, you know, magically, perhaps they flip a switch on opening day and everything changes. But you'd like to see some kind of sign of that.
Well, you can only keep your fingers crossed, and you hope they turn it on in the last 4 days.
Cora fouls off the breaking ball. I mean, there are 3 guys on this pitching staff that you don't worry about. I mean, I know Santana's coming off the elbow surgery, but I don't think you worry about Johan. And I don't think you worry about K-Rod or Feliciano.
No. But you're talking 3 of 12.
It's 3 out of 12. That's 25%.
What is that? 9, right?
That would leave 9. Yeah.
That would be 3/4, Garrett. If I'm correct.
I think you're ready for opening day.
Isn't that 75%?
Would you rather that in a pie chart or a bar graph?
Keith, what's the square root of 500?
Oh, please.
3-2 to Cora, and he walked him, and another good stop by LaRue, again preventing a run on a ball in the dirt. So Cora's on for the 2nd time as Carpenter's a little less than his sharpest. 2 walks and a hit by pitch. And Santana continues to try and finish off his 3rd inning on field 7. Meanwhile, Castillo steps in with 1st and 3rd and 2 out. They say the only reason the spring training lasts as long as it does is for 5 guys, because the hitters can be ready in 2 or 3 weeks, and so can the relief pitchers. It's the starters who need all this time to get ready. So you hope it's working. Castillo grounds out to Lopez. That ends the inning. That's going to double on a walk. Santana still toiling. Holiday leads off against Oliver Perez. Holiday homered over the center field fence his first time up, and he tries to hold the swing on the slider. 0-1. Moments ago, Johan Santana, who's already given up 6 runs in the inning against the Cardinal minor leaguers, got a visit from Ricky Bonas, the AAA pitching coach. That inning continues.
7 runs now, guys.
Wow.
Jeez.
Down the right field line off the bat of Holiday, and the wind will blow that one foul beyond Frank Kerr's reach, and it's 0-2.
3 doubles and a triple, and I got to tell you, they've all been hit pretty hard. I mean, this is Santana's location is way off this inning, and he's getting pounded. This is now the 11th man to bat for the Cardinals.
Back to Robinson again. Already seen his act.
You know, guys, I think I don't have the pitch count for this inning, but you wonder now. Ricky Bonas just went out to talk to Johan along with Josh Thole, and you wonder, you know, he's over 30 pitches in this inning, and it's the 11th batter, so you wonder how long he'll go.
Well, let me ask you a question. If you're allowed to manipulate a player's at bats the way the Mets have done with Reyes, having him lead off every inning, can you do the same with a pitcher, pull him out of there, and then bring him back the next inning?
You know, I don't know why you couldn't, but they won't have to worry about it. They finally get out of the inning there.
Well,
fly ball to left.
That's a good thing, because, you know, you want him to get his work in because it's his last tune-up before opening day, but you also don't want him to throw 50 pitches in an inning.
You would like him to have a nice, you know, 1, 2, 3 crisp, 1, 2, 3 crisp. In a perfect world. But it's not a perfect world.
Even for pitchers. That's right.
You are very fond of. You're partial to pitchers. You know that.
So 7 runs, 8 hits, guys, for Santana in that 3rd inning. And Reyes has only had 1 chance in the field. We were told all he would play was 3 in the field, but he'll get another at bat here.
We'll check in on that when Reyes gets back in the batter's box. Does it appear as though Santana's continuing beyond this inning?
I think he's going to, yeah. You guys hear me?
There's Carlos.
Yeah. Thought I lost you for a second. Yeah, I think he is going to keep going, Gary. I don't see any evidence that he's not.
3-2 now to Holiday. You saw Carlos Beltran peeking in from the Mets dugout. Carlos has been here every day. He does his workouts early in the morning, kind of trying to avoid having the spotlight aimed at him. But he's getting closer and closer to be able to get on the field and do some baseball activities. Holiday draws a leadoff walk after Perez was ahead of him 0-2 as Ollie's troubles continue. Here's your Mets upcoming schedule. Remember, all Met games on SNY are available in HD. Presented by IOTV. And if you're in the car, listen to every Mets game on Sports Radio 66 WFAN. And this is the regular season schedule now, with the Mets opening at home on Monday afternoon. 3 against the Marlins, 3 against the Nats to begin the season. And then that first road trip to Colorado and then to St. Louis. So the pocket schedule has flipped, Keith.
And it's could be muy frio in Denver. Here, you got to bring maybe bring the hat and the long coat.
Well, the good news is opening day is still looking good. They're still talking about 60+ temperatures. It's supposed to be beautiful in New York this weekend after all this rain passes.
Wonderful. I got to open up the house. Leaving Friday.
Here's Reyes getting ready for his at bat. So you gonna have enough time to get the house all set before Monday, or is opening day going to get in your way?
No. Opening day will not get in my way. All I have to do is get the garage. The 2 sons of the Emporium Hardware in SAG. They come over and move all the heavy stuff out onto the deck for me. I'm too old to do that.
Aren't we all? Alan Craig doubled down the left field line his first time up. And Ollie falls behind him 3-1. Well, he was 0-2 on Holiday, lost him to a walk. Now he's 3-1 to Craig as Jose Reyes gets ready for his 3rd at bat over on field 7. If you look right over the pitcher's shoulder there, you can see the stadium, which is where we are. And Kevin's over there on field 7, where the outfield fence configuration is the same as that at Citi Field. Big rip by Craig, and it's 3-2.
That's the center field fence. Is kind of like the left field fence almost here. Left center field fence. That's the back of the scoreboard almost looks like. And we're even further over to the right. I'm wrong. Nice cut by Reyes. Looks like he's swinging very aggressively.
With Holiday running, Craig fouls it off.
Guys, just for a recap, you just tuned in. Reyes has had 1 chance defensively. He made an error on a bobble. That's the only chance he had on D. At the plate, he had a long double to center, and he flew out to right. And as far as Johan Santana, who had a real rough third inning with those 7 runs and 8 hits, there is some warm-up action in the Mets pen now. So maybe the Mets are thinking that might be enough for Johan. We'll see if he comes out again.
Coincidentally enough, there's also warm-up action here in the stadium in the Mets bullpen. Craig gets under one to center. This should be playable for Matthews, having trouble with the sun, staggering to make the catch. Whoa, what a tough day to play the outfield. As Elmer descends up in the Mets bullpen, a man for all assignments.
Third baseman, David Freese.
There's David Freese, who grounded out to third base his first time. And there's Jose Reyes as we bring you both games at once.
Remember in the minor leagues, gosh, every pitcher you face, you've never seen him before. You know, everybody gets shuffled in and out every year in the minor league level. It's always facing someone new.
So as Reyes' at bat continues, 1-0 to Freese. With 1 out and 1 on. Third inning, 5-1 St. Louis. And that's on the outside corner to Freese, 1-1. Hey Kevin, have any of the fans found their way over to Field 7?
You know, I think it's actually open, but there's only a couple of fans. More, you know, Mets minor league personnel, Mets minor league players. And a bunch of media here watching this game. Good at bat for Reyes here, by the way, guys.
I guess word didn't get out.
Oh, nice play at first base. Reyes will try to beat it out, and he doesn't. But Reyes looked like he ran just fine to first base. Yep. He had a ground ball to first, had to try and beat it out. And you know, I don't know how good your picture is. We're shooting it through the fence, but boy, he looked like he ran just fine.
So he looked like he was running 100%, Kevin?
Yeah, to me he did. No question.
Yep, it sure is. That's a good sign.
So Reyes starting to answer some more questions with each at bat.
I don't think he's going to miss much, to be honest with you.
3-1 now to Freese. So Ollie's behind on the count again and issues his second walk of the inning. And I wonder how long they'll go with Ollie here.
Well, they're going to go as long. He's got his pitch count today, and he's going to have to. I always loved that line that Ronnie said when Davey Johnson came out to the mound, and there comes Dan Warthen.
Well, he's already up to 66 pitches now with 1 out in the third inning.
That's it.
That's going to be it. So not exactly what the Mets wanted from Oliver Perez today, pitching for the first time in a week. And we'll see what Ollie has to say about this outing a little bit later on. Elmer Descends coming on. This call to the bullpen brought to you by Lincoln Mercury. We'll be right back. Elmer Descends comes out of the bullpen for the 10th time this spring for the Mets to try and bail on Oliver Perez, who leaves after 2 1/3 innings, having allowed 5 runs and 6 hits, including 3 home runs. And the slider from Descends misses to Joe Mather, 1-0.
Well, Elmer's chugging right along, isn't he? 7 1/3. He throws strikes, one walk, and those numbers can be added on to if Elmer comes in and gives up Ollie's other 2 runs.
Well, not a good outing at all for Oliver Perez. Meanwhile, Descends just continues to get people out. And in all the discussions about all the spots that are open in the Mets bullpen, you never hear Elmer Descends' name mentioned. I mean, you can start from the top. After K-Rod and Feliciano, you hear Mejia and Parnell and Green and Igarashi and Takahashi and Figueroa and Nieve. You never hear Elmer Descends' name. You never hear Pat Mish's name. And those 2 guys have pitched better than anybody else this spring. And in a wide open competition for jobs, you would think that results would have to count for something. when all those other guys are struggling. Mather drives one deep to left. Bay going back, can't make the play. Crashes into the fence hard. A run comes in to score. Freeze stops at third, and Mather has himself a double. And it's 6-1.
Ball hit hard here. And Bay going back against the wall, just out of his reach. And that's against the wind too, Gare, right there. That ball was hit pretty good.
He was able to brace himself for the most part, but it looked like his knee struck that wall pretty hard. But he is okay. So the pounding continues as Descends is greeted by Mather's RBI double. Now the infield comes most of the way in for Jason LaRue with second and third and one out. And he takes a strike. LaRue struck out his first time up. I just wonder when we get to Sunday, when the Mets have to finally decide who's going to be on this team and who's going to be filling those bullpen slots, as LaRue bloops one to shallow center. Matthews comes on to grab it. Here comes Freeze trying to score. The throw goes to third, and Freeze scores easily.
Why?
I mean, Matthews was in very shallow center field when he caught that ball.
Oh, he had every arm. It was going to throw out the runner, but he got the strong arm. I'm shocked. I mean, he's coming in with a full head of steam. I think he made a decision. He looked home. I felt he could have had him. Not a chance.
I guess he thought Mather was going to break to third, but he never did. So 2 runs are home in the inning, both charged to Oliver Perez. That closes the book on him. 7 runs, 6 hits, and 2 1/3 for Ollie today.
Ouch.
Here's Carpenter up for the second time.
What was that song? Please, Mr. Custer, I don't want to go.
But really, when you get to Sunday and you've got this, you've got 10 guys for 5 spots in that bullpen, how are they going to decide? Is it going to be based on spring training performance? Is it going to be based on what? Who has a contract? I mean, nobody in that group, other than the guys who are not being considered, like Mish and Descends and Takahashi to a lesser extent, have pitched very well this spring. They don't know who the 8th inning guy is going to be. It could be Nieve. It could be Feliciano. It could be Mejia. It could be Igarashi. Parnell. Flip a coin. Oh, 0-2 from Descends. Chop to the right side, and Descends will make the play himself to put an end to the inning. But the Cardinals put up 2 more runs. 3 straight crooked numbers. 7-1 St. Louis.
Mets third baseman David Wright.
David Wright leads off the last of the third against Chris Carpenter, who struck him out looking at a curveball his first time up. It'll be Wright, then Jason Bay, and Daniel Murphy for the Mets in the home third. And Carpenter throws a fastball by him, 1-1.
Up and in. Boy, just overpowered him right here. Not a chance. Tied him up.
Chris Carpenter can come at you with a lot of different weapons. I remember when Mike Piazza caught him in the All-Star game a few years ago, he said that Carpenter had as good a cutter as he had ever caught.
Right.
And you saw that pitch right there. But then he's also got the sinker and he's got the curveball.
Piazza would have loved to have caught the good slider. That's 3 pitches. Go sit down.
So twice now he has struck out David Wright.
Slider right on the block.
Left fielder Jason Bay.
Meanwhile, on field 7, Jose Reyes getting ready for his 4th at bat and facing a lefty now, so he gets a right-handed at bat for the first time. Jason Bay up here, and he takes a strike. And side-arming lefty to boot.
had that rough last inning. He gave up the 7 runs on 8 hits, and he was out there for a while. He's been on the bench for a while. Mets have put up a couple runs this inning, but he is still going to get back out there and pitch. Reyes today 1 for 3 at the plate. Little slow roll to first base. He's out easily, but again, Reyes out of the box. Took a couple quick steps. Looks like no problem with the acceleration getting out of that box. That will end the inning. And Reyes initially slated to not even play the field. He played 3 innings. I think he's done, but who knows? Maybe he convinced him to go back out there. We'll see.
But you see Santana is going back out there for his 4th inning of work. Or will this be his 5th now? I'm losing track now, Kevin.
This is top of the 4th, Gare. It's about as long as your game over there.
Well, Santana's lasted longer than Ollie did today, despite the 7-run inning. And ball 4 to Jason Bay, so the Mets have a 1-out base runner, and uncharacteristically, that's 3 walks given up by Chris Carpenter today. Carpenter last year averaged 1.8 walks per 9 innings, 38 walks in 192 innings.
And add on that hits batsman.
Which, by the way, has knocked Alex Cora out of the game. Russ Adams is coming to play shortstop for the Mets. Cora stayed in, took 1 more at bat, but then came out in the bottom of the 2nd, in the top of the 3rd, I should say. Here's Daniel Murphy, who drove in the only Met run with a sharp single to right. And he hits another ground ball through the hole, and that's a base hit. So Murphy 2 hits yesterday, 2 more hits today, and the Mets have 2 men on.
Well, what a difference a week makes, Gary. I was here a week ago and talked with Daniel. He was struggling. They had just sent down the big first baseman,
Mike Davis,
that had the great spring. And boy, Daniel was down the dumps. Amazing what a slump will do to a hitter. But look at now, 1 week later, the sun shines, doesn't it?
Here's Jeff Francoeur, who had a fly ball to the right field corner that was caught his first time up. Jeff had 3 hits yesterday in the game in Jupiter, and he takes in tight. So Carpenter was right up among the league leaders in fewest walks per 9 innings. His former teammate Joel Pinheiro led the league. And add to that he had the lowest home run ratio of any pitcher in the league. 0.3 home runs per 9 innings, 7 home runs allowed in 192 innings. That's a heck of a combination.
You see Carpenter's not happy with himself. He's had a spotty outing, even though he's only given up 1 run.
The Cardinals ace pitches in the stadium, the Mets ace pitches on the backfield.
Well, for the everyday players right now, when you got the last week, it's already been, you know, just tough the week prior.
Double play ball right at Brendan Ryan, and Lopez has to get out of the way to make the turn. 6-4-3 double play. That gets Carpenter through the bottom of the 3rd. On to the 4th we go. Ralph Kiner will join us 7-1. Felipe Lopez leads off the 4th inning against Elmer Descends, who came on in relief of Oliver Perez in the 3rd. And Jason Bay gets in front of that line drive, so Descends throws 1 pitch and gets it out. And Ralph Kiner joins us. And Ralph, it's been awfully tough watching the Mets pitching this spring. I don't know if you have much sympathy there as a hitter.
It's been awfully tough watching this game. I'll tell you one thing about spring training, though. This is what it's all about. About this time of year, you're looking forward to going up north and getting some colder weather and getting out of the routine of spring training and back to where everything does count. Right now, of course, nothing counts, and it's a interesting spring, but at the same time, you play to play in the games that really count.
Well, when you first started, Ralph, they didn't play as many spring training games down in Florida, right?
Well, I actually did most of my spring training in California, and we played about the same amount of games. They didn't have the double games that they have now, where you have the split squad. And the other thing about when I was playing, this time of year and this part of spring training was playing a barnstorming trip all the way back from California or from Florida. And you would play in one town and go to the next and play there and go to the next and play there, and you're riding the trains every night. And so that was very hard to do. You know, it was very tough because you never spent any time in any city. You go to the ballpark after you dressed in a hotel, and they would go out and play a game and then come back and showered and dressed in civvies and then go on to the next town. So that was very difficult.
I bet you the sheriffs were the ones that did that, Ralph. They ran you out of town. They didn't want you guys overnighting.
Well, they did chase us out a few times.
Brendan Ryan hooks one toward the left field corner, and Bay can't get this one. And Brendan Ryan has his second extra base hit of the day. Homered in the second, and now hooks a double to the left field corner here in the fourth.
A nice effort by Bay, and just can't get there.
Right fielder,
There's been a lot of extra base hits in this game by the Cardinals.
7 of them already among their 8 hits.
Ralph, what'd you do to pass the time on those long train rides? Did you play? Were you a card player?
Yeah, you had to play. We played hearts all the time.
I miss hearts.
Yeah, it was really fun to play. And of course, you couldn't wait to drop that queen of spades on.
What was her name on the card game?
This is the paper queen.
Here's Ryan Ludwig, who homered back in the first inning, and he takes one at his feet. He's hit by the pitch, and so the Cardinals have 2 men on. Let's check in with Kevin Burkhardt. Kevin?
Guy, I just want to let you know in that 4th inning, Johan Santana rebounded quite nicely. You know, he had let up 7 runs on 8 hits and got hit pretty hard in that 3rd inning. But good 4th, set down the AAA Cardinals 1-2-3. 1 strikeout looking, run strikeout swinging. It was really the 1st inning. His fastball had good location, and his changeup was the best it was all day. Got 2 strikeouts on that. So good rebound inning for Johan Santana, who remains in the game. And Jose Reyes will get 1 more at bat here for his rehab stint. He's on deck, and as soon as this inning starts, he will get to hit.
Now, Kevin, he did not go back to the field for the 4th inning, right?
He did not. No, Jose just played the 3 innings in the field, just had that 1 opportunity and made an error.
Meanwhile, Matt Holliday steps in. He's homered and walked today, and he takes a slider in the dirt. Ralph, when you guys barnstormed at the end of spring training, was it 2 teams traveling together?
It would be 2 teams on 1 train, and they would have a dining car, and we would have a dining car, and also we have a couple of Pullmans, and be on the same train on the same line.
But there was no fraternization?
No, you wouldn't mix it up. You stay in your own belly.
Because I'm sure if the same thing happened today, you'd have the 2 teams mixing in the middle, right?
Could be, yeah. Well, you never know. But in a way, it was kind of fun. You always had card games going on. And of course, there were some great stories that came out of that. One time, I got a good story, I think, with Luke Easter, who was, we came back one year with the Giants against, I was playing for Cleveland, and the Giants in Cleveland played all the way back. And Easter was playing cards with Leo DeRosa. And somebody said, you got to be out of your mind to play cards with DeRosa. And someone said, why? Well, he's a great card player. Plus the fact that Herman Franks, who was the 3rd string catcher on the club, Herman Franks was standing behind DeRosa, and you wouldn't put it past him. He was giving signs to Leo DeRosa about what kind of cards Easter was holding. And so that was the way it was, and Easter got killed on that whole barnstorming trip back. And later on in the season, Hank Greenberg was working with a part owner of the Cleveland Ball Club. Got a letter from DeRosa and said, your friend Easter owes me a lot of money. And Hank said, what for? He said, because they played cards. I beat him out of $10,000. And he said, I want to get my money. Could you get it for me? So we went to Easter, Hank did. And he said to Luke, he said, you played cards with DeRosa on the train ride all the way back in that barnstorming trip? He says, yeah, didn't you know that he was a terrific card player? Hank said to Easter, and Easter said, yeah. So why did you play him? He said, well, I didn't intend to play, to pay. I don't think DeRosa ever got the money.
And so Jose Reyes ground out in that final at bat of the day over on field 7. Holiday with a little tapper and descends off the mound to field it. Throws out Holiday for the second out as the runners move up. So, Kevin, do we assume now that Reyes' day is done?
Yeah, I believe he's done, Gary. He's done in the field. He was done last inning there. He's had his 5 at-bats, which is what the team said he would have. He was 1 for 5 with a double over the center fielder's head earlier. And the good news is that twice he ran extremely hard out of the box to first base, showed absolutely no limitations at all. So I think hamstring-wise, leg-wise, he looks great. Had a couple pretty good at-bats there before grounding out. 1 for 5, and just the one chance in the field with the error.
Getting a look at that last chance again. Now, do we have any idea, Kevin, what the plan is for tomorrow for Jose?
The Mets haven't announced it. I think the plan is you got to have him run the bases. Today he was only allowed to run the first, even though on that double, if you were watching earlier in the game, we saw him kind of make the turn and jog to second. But I talked to Jose earlier, guys, and I think it's pretty clear the team is the one that's being cautious, and they want to make sure, by all accounts, he's completely healthy before bringing him north. I mean, Jose, if it's up to him, he wants to go full out today. He says he feels that good. So I think the next step is to let him make that turn at full speed and make that cut. He's going to go running now. He's done with the game, but he's going to do running. So I'll go watch and see what he does and see how he feels with that, and I'll get back to you.
And presumably, if he plays tomorrow, it'll still be in a minor league game.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be playing in major, in the big league games over here. I think he's going to stay on this side of things, unless he just gets to the point by, unless tomorrow's that good where Thursday he feels like he could go.
Well, they can't let him play out here, and let him just get a base hit and then take him out of the game, Gary.
Right. They have right. As long as he needs to be manipulated like that, then they have to keep him in the minor league. Yep. But the Mets break camp here on Thursday. What I'm thinking is they go to the west coast of Florida for 2 games in Sarasota and St. Pete. And I wonder whether they'll leave Jose behind here to play in more minor league games, or whether he'll travel with the team. But I guess that decision's still a couple of days away.
Gary, I think you hit it. I mean, I think he's going to. I'd be shocked if he doesn't stay here, and maybe get him ready enough to fly him up for Monday. I mean, but it still feels to me like the team is going to be ultra cautious. I mean, I would still say that opening day for me is still a question mark. But maybe by tomorrow that changes. We'll see.
And you see Jose there with Rick Slade, and in the background Jason Craig, a couple of the Mets strength and conditioning coordinators to get him ready to do some more drills on one of the backfields. Ray Ramirez, the Mets head trainer, is back there as well. 2-2 the count to Alan Craig, and he fouls one away. So I guess the bottom line is that he keeps progressing a little bit every day.
Well, you would hope so, and you would hope that he wouldn't get an injury, and each day as he feels better and he gets stronger and closer to getting back out there in uniform. And I got to believe leading off for this club, Gary.
Keith, you said at the beginning of the program that you thought he wouldn't play on opening day. I think he will.
You think he will?
I really do. Why not?
Okay.
If he goes through up to the day before and has everything working in good shape, I think he'll play. I know he will want to play, that's for sure.
Meanwhile, there might be another issue involved today. We've seen Alex Cora leave this game after being drilled in the hip by a pitch. Who knows what his status is going to be for the next few days. And Craig is down swinging as Elmer descends, works his way out of trouble in the top of the 4th. Still 7-1 St. Louis. Gary Matthews Jr. leads off the bottom of the 4th against Chris Carpenter. Matthews popped up to shortstop his first time up. Gary's now 35 years old. And that one huge season with Texas in 2006.
Came at the right time, didn't it?
Right before his free agency.
And he went to the California Angels, and nothing happened. They didn't get what they thought they were going to get.
5 years, $50 million, and the Mets got him for the last 2 years of that deal, with the Angels picking up much of the tab. So the Mets felt as though, even though they had to give up Brian Stokes, that they were getting something of a free look at Matthews with Carlos Beltran out.
One thing about Matthews, he took a terrible beating in the papers from the writers in L.A.
Sean Green up in the Mets bullpen.
And most of it he sort of brought on by himself. He was not happy there.
Well, he wasn't getting the playing time that he would have liked. I mean,
Here's ball 4, and Matthews on with a leadoff walk. Meanwhile, on the backfield, here is Jose Reyes and what he's doing after coming out of the minor league game. Simulating a swing and running to first base. That was moments ago, and now he's live and looking to run a little more.
That looks good.
Looks very good.
It's got a little easier. Remember Jose when he ran, he was always a lot of, like when you look at Carlos Beltran running, he's so graceful with the easy long strides. Jose is always like a, you know, like the Tasmanian devil in those cartoons when he runs.
When he was first hurt because of hamstrings, they wanted to change his whole way of running.
David Freese, as that ball blows back into play, catches the foul pop-up by Rod Barajas for the first out. Yeah, they sent him down to Mackie Shilstone in New Orleans and taught him to run completely differently. And that didn't work, so he went back to his old way of running.
Guys, you just saw that here in the backfield. Jose, that is the first time he's, cut that base and gone to an extra base since coming back from the thyroid problem. He had a couple of simulated swings, ran hard to first both times, no issue, and now he's sprinting home from third. I mean, he looks fine. I'm gonna be honest, he looks totally fine. So I'm sure they'll have him do it a couple more times, see how he cuts that base, but he's smiling and running quite well.
Beat out the infield hit, went first to third on the hit to right, and scored on the sacrifice fly. That's a Reyes run right there on the backfield. Here's Frank Catalanato pinch hitting for the Mets. Batting for Elmer descends, and Sean Green will be on to pitch in the 5th. Blowing away, 2-1. I don't know if you heard this the other day, Keith, but Reyes had the line of the spring. We were talking to him after his first day when he had the first workout, and he took 20 grounders and 20 swings, and media contingent was following him from field to field. And I said, what was that like? He said, I felt like I was Japanese. Talking about what happens with the Japanese players here when they have all those Japanese media members following their every move. It was this timing was perfect. Santana just turned in another 1-2-3 inning as Catalanato bounces one into right field for a base hit. Matthews will pull in at second, take the turn, and fortunate not to get picked off there as that throw came in behind him, and Brendan Ryan didn't catch it.
I'm surprised he didn't get the third on this one. That was kind of not hit that hard. Well, he's out. He is dead to rights.
Here's Reyes now from the right side. It's hard to see any limitations there, Keith. It just looks like he's running free and easy.
He looks good. It's just a matter of building up his wind, his lung capacity, his wind, being able to go hit those triples, score.
Hey guys, we have to remember too, I mean, obviously this is Reyes getting back his wind after the thyroid issue, but before that thyroid issue, he was fine. This is not like he's just coming back from the hamstring surgery, I mean, I think you can easily forget that. He did all the rehab, and when spring started was completely fine. So hopefully this looks like it's a formality with him, just getting the wind back and just making sure everything's still working properly after 3 weeks on the couch.
Sounds like he was visiting Dr. Freud on the 3 weeks on the couch.
3 weeks watching movies, better.
Visiting Mr. DeMille. Russ Adams grounds one down to first, and Alan Craig makes the play for the second out as the runners advance to second and third. Do your Toyota text poll for today. Do you think the spring training is too long? Text your response to 57508 or visit sny.tv. That's A for yes and B for no.
Well, I bet you all the yes voters are up in New York, and all the no voters are down here in the sun, in the warmth.
And all the ball players are saying yes.
Curveball for a strike to Castillo.
You know, spring training is really for the executives of the ball club and the owners and what have you. They come down there and enjoy watching the games without having to worry about the results. I always like Rusty Staub's opinion of spring training. He said, can you expect to have a good year? He said, if you can't expect to have a good year in spring training, you never can.
Well, you're 0-0 when the year begins. Big hop to Felipe Lopez, who throws out Castillo, and the Mets strand 2 in the fourth. For the 2010 season at Citi Field are on sale now. Visit Mets.com or call 718-507-TIXX to get your single game tickets today. Operators are standing by. Here's your Harris fifth inning recap. 3 home runs by the Cardinals off Oliver Perez have staked St. Louis to a 7-1 lead as we go to the fifth.
I got to recap, Gary, that of all the questions that Keith asked when I wasn't on the air.
Okay.
Bob Howsam, okay, the general manager of the Cincinnati Reds, and he was the guy that said no facial hair. Well, one of the answers was Raleigh Fingers, a Hall of Famer, wanted to sign up with the Cincinnati Reds, and Howsam said to him, you had to shave off that big handlebar mustache. And Fingers said no way, and he left town. So they missed out signing him because of that. And of course, you were talking about the Baltimore chop, and now where'd that come from? I got an answer for you, Keith.
All right.
David Freese hits a low liner that Castillo handles one away.
The Baltimore chop was by John McGraw, who was the manager of the Baltimore team that was in the major leagues in the American League. And the reason why he did it, he was the guy that thought of the hit and run play. And in Baltimore, they had a very hard infield, and he said, you got to chop down on the ball. And that was where the Baltimore chop came from.
They weren't the Orioles back then? No.
I think they were
They might have been the Orioles, but I think they might have been in the National League.
Maybe they were, yeah. And of course, they were in the major leagues, and that was the thing that McGraw came up with. Of putting the runner in motion at first base and chopping down to the ball to bounce it and get the runner over to third. That was the reason for that. Of course, you guys are talking about mathematics, and I wonder why.
Well, Keith was talking about mathematics.
And also, the other thing you were talking about, Keith was talking about the best dressed ball player and the uniform of the St. Louis Cardinals, and he never showed the top black sock. And when the red and black were on the understockings of the ball player. And then they brought in Mrs. Robinson, and I never figured out how she got into the conversation.
Oh, she has a connection with baseball.
Oh yeah, Joe DiMaggio.
And Sean Green just misses with the slider as Mather held the swing 2-2. Now Jose Reyes has done his work for the day, and he's departing the scene.
And he gets a ride home, huh?
Wow.
Never had that in the old days.
You had to walk it back to the clubhouse, didn't you?
3-2 to Joe Mather. Well, it's been a rough spring for Sean Green, who's trying to keep his place on this team after appearing in 79 games for the Mets last year. But as we talked about at the outset today, out of 7 spots in the bullpen, 5 are significantly up in the air 6 days before the season begins. Chopped out to short where Russ Adams is there. And he throws out Mather 2 away.
Good arm there by Adams.
Russ Adams at one time starting shortstop in Toronto. #1 draft pick there. Now just fighting for a job in the big leagues. Here's Jason LaRue, who has struck out and hit a sacrifice fly 0 for 1.
Getting back on the history with Ralph here. There was one year, and Ralph, you'll probably know, where the St. Louis Cardinals took the birds and the bat off their uniform. And the St. Louis fans just went ballistic. And I believe it was in the 40s, Ralph. I'm not sure. And maybe I think it was the 40s.
What did they just said Cardinals with no?
Yeah, they took it off, and the fans just went absolutely bonkers. And next year they brought the bird and the bat back.
And the other thing that's interesting about St. Louis, everyone in the West, actually fans of the group of fans there that ever were in baseball, and they also played the St. Louis Browns played in St. Louis, and the Cardinals and Browns shared the same ballpark. And when you played there, that infield they had there was like a brickyard. It was so hard because they couldn't water it down because the two teams alternated playing there all the time.
And of course they played the World Series there.
Yes.
1944.
During the war.
Cardinals against the Browns.
Cardinals won that one, correct?
Yes. That was the one shining moment for the St. Louis Browns in an otherwise dismal history.
And there was one player in that that played during the war for the, I believe it was for the Browns, St. Louis Browns, who had one arm, and he hit with one arm.
Pete Gray, right?
Pete Gray. And he was an outfielder, and he had a stump over the other arm. And he put his glove under there and would take it, throw the ball in there, and catch it and throw it home.
Amazing.
Sean Green strikes out LaRue halfway through.
7-1. David Wright leads off the last of the 5th inning. Hasn't had much luck against Chris Carpenter this afternoon. Up twice with 2 strikeouts.
Got him with a curveball his first time up. He was looking at that, and then he got him with a slider his next time up. 2 strikeouts. White's had a good spring, really has. Well, that's been done a lot this time in the spring.
To David.
Yes, it has.
Yes, sir.
Well, it's only natural they're going to test him after he got hit in the head last year. And again, 3-0.
I don't think that was on purpose.
No. The catcher was set up away, Ralph.
Yeah.
Give him a hit sign here.
And he walked him on 4 pitches. So Carpenter gives up his 5th walk of the afternoon. Wonder if he's ever done that in a real game.
New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Verizon Fios, by Pepsi, and by ZigTech, the energy drink for your feet.
There's Jason Bay, who's hit into a fielder's choice and drawn a walk 0 for 1. Mets have just 4 hits against Carpenter, but they've drawn 5 walks. However, they've left 6 runners on base over the first 4 innings.
They've had a base hit in each of the first 4 innings.
Carpenter, lifetime record is 117 wins and 74 losses. But if you just take his St. Louis numbers, he is 68-24. Freeze gets the out at second. Lopez throws it away and into the photo box. And that'll send Bay to second base. So the error, the first of the game, gives the Mets a runner in scoring position.
A nice play by Freeze, throwing on the run. Perfect feed. And it just looked like Lopez didn't want to hang in there.
So now Daniel Murphy is 2 for 2. Drove in the only Met run with the first inning single. He's pulled the ball twice. And he takes a strike. I asked Daniel today about those 3 line drives he hit on Sunday that all became outs. He said, "Doesn't bother me. I'd rather have them on April 8th.
Well, the way he struggled, he's happy to hit 3 balls on the screws like he did, Gary. And that's a sign. You don't care in spring. You get angry during the season because those are base hits and sometimes RBIs on them. But during spring, as long as you're hitting the ball hard like that, you know you're getting your stroke. The average is not as important. It's all about getting prepared and ready to go when the gun sounds.
He's not too sure of having that first base job, though. He needs some base hits to make it a possibility that he plays first base.
No, we're such the Mets. Oh boy, I'm a homer. I am a homer. I pull for the Mets. Shoot.
Who doesn't?
But the Mets are, for the first time, really a top-heavy right-handed lineup now.
Yeah, things have changed now.
Yep, they certainly have.
Well, especially without Beltran. When he comes back, that changes things a little bit.
Yep.
Although you're going to have a switch hitter anyway with Pagan or Matthews, but not in the middle of the order where Beltran will be. I mean, the problem we have right now with this batting order is you'd probably prefer not to have Murphy in the 5-hole.
Yes. If Murph could run, he'd be a good second hitter, wouldn't he?
Yeah. But then again, with Castillo in the lineup, where else are you going to hit him? When you hit him 8th, you waste him. Murphy's on for the 3rd straight time, and that's 6 walks now for Carpenter. That's a month's worth for him.
Wow.
It's the only New York sports news and highlight show in town, with on-scene reports, game analysis, and exclusive interviews. Geico Sports Night every night at 10 p.m. and 1 a.m. right here on SNY. So again, the Mets have 2 men on. Jeff Francoeur 0 for 2, grounded into a double play to end the 3rd inning, and lays off the slider. Kiko Calero up in the Mets bullpen. It would certainly pay, if you're a Mets relief pitcher, to have yourself a good, solid outing right about now.
Carpenter's dropping his arm now, getting tired. You drop the elbow down, and you're just, that's a sure sign of a pitcher getting exhausted.
And Dave Duncan, the pitching coach, is going to come out for a look. 91 pitches now for Carpenter. Nobody's up in the Cardinal bullpen, but that's about to change. Carpenter went 6 innings against the Mets in his last start, but in that game he allowed only a run on 2 hits, 2 walks, and 7 strikeouts. Today with the 6 walks, his pitch count is way up there.
Well, the Mets have left 7 men on base so far in the first 4 innings. That's a sign of
walks. Those walks are really hurting you, and of course that's not that good. But Dave Duncan, one of the great pitching coaches of all time, and really the right-hand man of the manager of the St. Louis Cardinals. He has a lot to say about what goes on, and he's got a good pitching staff.
I know you and Ronnie talked about it at length, Gary, yesterday, but Dave Duncan was very upset when his son was traded. Was displeased, I guess, with how the Cardinals handled it. I don't know the sordid details, but there was rumor that he was going to leave the Cardinals. Well, he's back.
And meanwhile, his son Chris has been sent to the minors again by his new organization, playing for Washington. 3-1 now to Francoeur, so kind of justifies what the Cardinals did. 2 aboard. Francoeur works a positive count, and on 3-1 he hits a sharp ground ball, and that one comes up and eats up Freeze. Jason Bay heading for the plate to throw from left field, not in time. LaRue was behind the plate,
yes,
which is what enabled Bay to slide in safely, and I think LaRue also got spiked. So the Mets get a run at 7-2.
Well, he just didn't get in front of it. He played it off to his left side. He had plenty of time to get his whole body in front. Nice play by the shortstop. Perfect throw. What is he backing up for? I know it's in between hop, but once you back up and give the plate, who cares if you catch the ball? You're going to be safe. You got to sit there and block the plate there in a play like that.
And why is Bay looking over his shoulder?
I tell you, Bay surprised me with the speed that he had to be able to score on that ball. It should have been caught and turned into a double play.
That's a heck of a throw by picking the ball up, letting go by Ryan. It's short.
Meanwhile, they're attending to the left arm of Jason LaRue, where he caught the spikes of Jason Bay. Remember, the Cardinals are already down their #1 catcher, Yadi Molina, and LaRue's coming out of the game. So the Cardinals all of a sudden have a catching problem. If LaRue can't catch soon, they're going to have to figure out what they're going to do for an opening day catcher. And it could be this guy.
Oh, the son.
The nephew,
Tom.
Nephew of
Tom Pagnozzi.
Cardinal, Tom, Matt Pagnozzi. So Francoeur reaches on the error. The second of the inning for the Cardinals. Bay scores and Murphy goes to second, and now Matt Pagnozzi will warm up his arm and get ready to take over behind the plate. Carpenter trying to finish off this 5th inning, not getting a lot of help. That was a double play ball waiting to happen. That was booted by Freeze, and so Carpenter will continue on. Let's give you the results of our Toyota text poll. Do you think spring training is too long? Well, 57% of you say it is. Well, I guess that means you're anxious for the season to start.
60 degrees in the weekend, you yes voters up north.
Well, they're sitting there today watching the rain pelt down again. Chopped to the right side by Matthews. Craig feeds to Carpenter, and they get the out at first. As the runners move to second and third.
Well, PFP practice in BP. That's why any ball hit to the right side of the infield, the pitcher has to cover. Can't assume. That's a nice looking uniform. Sorry, I always say that, but I'm partial. Very partial to that uniform.
So 2 in scoring position for Rod Barajas, who doubled to left center back in the second. 1 for 2, and Pagnozzi just into the game, has to block down a potential wild pitch, and Murphy gets caught off third.
He's hurt.
Looks like he did turn an ankle or something. Pagnozzi tags him out, and that ends the inning. So Murphy got caught in between, and Pagnozzi just into the game makes the play that gets Carpenter through further trouble. Mets settle for an unearned run and trail 7-2 after 5. Whoops. Mike Jacobs comes in to play first base after Daniel Murphy stumbled off. Angel Pagan into play center, and Skip Schumacher up for the first time, batting for Chris Carpenter, facing Sean Green to lead off in the 6th. Schumacher having a rough spring, but he'll be the regular second baseman for the Cardinals, who moved him to that position from the outfield last year, and he had himself a fine season as the St. Louis leadoff hitter. Punches one foul.
He's a nice little scrappy player.
Well, Sean Green pitched a 1-2-3 5th inning, helped out by a line drive out. And now coming back out for the 6th. Oliver Perez went the first 2 1/3 today, and it did not go well. 7 runs, 6 hits, a couple of walks, 3 home runs. Good breaking ball by Green to strike out Schumacher. 1 away. So 4 up and 4 down for Green with a couple of Ks.
Well, Sean's been working on that breaking ball to left-hand hitters. And he's actually one of the best I've seen at it, much like Chad Bradford. And we all remember him back in 2007, the Submariner, that the Mets got over from Baltimore. And that's been impressive, because usually a sinker ball, a sidearm pitcher like Green against left-handers, he's pretty much stuck just throwing that sinker away.
Here's Felipe Lopez, who's 2 for 3. Turn around about left-handed for the first time. Cardinals 7 runs, 8 hits. The Mets 2 runs and 4 hits. And toward the hole, base hit. 3rd hit of the day for Lopez. Well, Norman Esiason is in the crowd today. better known as Boomer.
Talked to Boomer earlier, and Craig Carton here.
They were here doing their show this morning.
I said it's the first time I've met Craig, I believe, or second time, and I didn't sleep well last night, and I said, nice to see you, Andrew.
Andrew, huh?
Yes, he wrote it down. He's going to use it in the show tomorrow, I'm sure. Sure.
There's Brendan Ryan, who's had a nice day at the plate with a home run and a double. Well, did you happen to see our friend Chris Majkowski this morning?
No.
Because he rolled into the ballpark today at about 4:30 this morning because he had
that show.
Boomer and Carton show.
Boomer's a workaholic.
Chris was looking like he could use a nap. But that's why they call him immortal. Adams gets the out at second. Castillo the turn, and the double play ends the inning. So 2 solid innings out of Sean Green this afternoon. And the Cardinals are done in the top of the 6th. Field is sharing the fun of the 2010 Mets season with family, friends, or co-workers. Get to the phone at 718-507-TIXX or log on to Mets.com to book your group outing today. Changes for the Cardinals. Skip Schumacher, who pinch hits, stays in the game at second base. Felipe Lopez moves over to third. And on to pitch the Fernando Valenzuela looking like Dennis Reyes.
Well, Dennis had a good year last year. So you can see 6'3", 250.
Yeah, right.
Probably could get that down. If that's correct, he should get down to 230.
If you could get down to 250, that would probably be cool. Maybe you should try what you're trying. You by the way, you look great.
Thank you.
I have to say.
It's been almost 6 weeks, and I've lost 26 pounds. And you know what did it?
You sure it's safe to lose it that fast?
You know what did it, though?
What's that?
The pictures all over the New York papers when I was working with Daniel Murphy, the first baseman, and they had that big boiler in the profile. I said, "Oh my gosh, I gotta get rid of that before it's too late."
You don't have any mirrors in your house?
I don't look at myself, Ralph. I'm not into me.
3-0 to Barajas leading off the bottom of the 6th. Rod is 1 for 2. He doubled back in the 2nd. You know, you can manipulate those mirrors, Ralph.
That's true.
Like in the fun house.
I was going to say, I like those the ones they have in the fun house, huh? Really look bad.
Dennis Reyes, one of 2 very effective lefties in Tony La Russa's bullpen, along with Trevor Miller. Flared to first, where Alan Craig picks it off. 1 away. So Barajas is retired, and now Fernando Tatis will come up to pinch hit.
Gosh, we're in the bottom of the 6th already.
How's your coffee?
It was right on time, wasn't it?
I think I need a little more cream in mine. This is very strong.
Cream's very bad for you.
Well, you know, not all of us can be as svelte as you. And Tatis chops one out to short. Nice easy hop for Brendan Ryan, and quickly 2 away. So 2 up and 2 set aside. And Russ Adams coming up. Here's your Verizon Ask the Booth. Carolyn from Milford, Connecticut has today's question. Who benefits more from spring training, pitchers or hitters?
That's a tough question. I think everybody benefits. It's longer because of the pitchers. You know, starting pitchers can only peak pitch every 5th day.
I would say pitchers, because they take longer to get in shape. You need spring training for them. Hitter can get in shape in a week.
Of course, you use the expression "in shape," and there was a day when spring training meant getting in shape. Now that's not even an issue.
That's very true. It really has changed a lot. Most of the time when the pitchers actually been the hitters. When Babe Ruth would go to spring training in Hot Springs, he came out of Hot Springs in worse shape than when he went in.
Adams grounds out to end the 6th. Kiko Calera coming in as we go to the 7th. Now let's check out tomorrow's probable pitchers for the Mets-Marlins game here in Port St. Lucie, brought to you by Mercedes. John Maine will make his final tune-up tomorrow, and he'll be opposed by Josh Johnson, whom the Mets will see tomorrow, and then again on opening day at Citi Field on Monday. Meanwhile, Kiko Calero will come on to pitch the 7th inning today. He'll be the 4th Met pitcher of the afternoon.
Well, the veteran, shoulder problems, arm problems, slider ball pitcher, doesn't throw hard like he used to. A terrific year last year with the Marlins, but I remember him last year. It was just slider after slider after slider.
He says as he throws a first pitch fastball.
Yes. How dare him.
But you saw 87 miles an hour, and that's about where he's going to top out. And that fastball really is a show-me pitch more than anything now. Nick Stavinoa for the first time took over for Ryan Ludwig after Ludwig was hit on the leg by a pitch, same leg that he fouled a ball off here on Sunday as Mitchell Boggs gets up in the bullpen for St. Louis. So Ludwig keeps hurting his leg and he keeps hitting home runs, 3 in 3 days. And there's the slider from Calero. 2-1. Well, Kiko Calero, a late signee by the Mets, but certainly right in the mix for a job in that Mets bullpen, where so many jobs are up for grabs. I think that the guys you can pretty much pen in the bullpen as Igarashi gets set to head down to the bullpen to warm up. I mean, obviously K-Rod and Feliciano are the two as Stavinoa strikes out, so a good slider by Calero to get him. And I think you can put Fernando Nieve definitely in that mix as well.
Yes.
Because Nieve's out of options. Jonathan East is going to be the 5th starter, although they haven't officially announced it yet. And in fact, Nieve was used yesterday to close the game against Florida. So Jerry's leaning more toward using Fernando in late innings of games, because that composition of the bullpen is going to include 3 guys who have predominantly been starters in their careers, or at least it could go that way with Nieve and Takahashi and Figueroa. So one of them is going to have to work later in games, and it looks like Nieve is going to get a crack at that. But the other guys, you know, Takahashi, Figueroa, Calero, Green, Parnell, Mejia. Did I leave anybody out? Even Raul Valdez, the guy that's on loan from the Mexican League, who's only been here for about a week and a half. The lefty, he's in the mix, particularly if they decide to use Feliciano in the 8th inning, because they don't need another lefty specialist, and Valdez could be that guy. So there's so many questions surrounding this bullpen with a very short period of time in which to make those decisions. Holiday stops the swing, couldn't do it in time. 2-2.
Holiday, a great 63 games with the Cardinals when they came over to them in the middle of the season last year. Hit 353, 13 home runs, 55 RBIs. I'm going to say Holiday and Pujols are probably the 2 best hitters back-to-back on one team.
Certainly in the National League. It's hard to think of a better combination. But here's a measure of how he improved last year. His slugging percentage in Oakland was .454. His slugging percentage with St. Louis, .604.
I don't think he was happy in Oakland.
Another one hit well to center field. Back goes Pagan, back near the wall, and it's out of here. Matt Holliday with his 2nd home run of the game, and they've both been to dead center field. His first 2 home runs of the spring come here this afternoon, and they were both hit out of a cannon.
The 2 solo shots. Well, this is the time of year you kind of want to turn it on.
Well, he had the oblique injury that cost him a couple of weeks here in spring. He's been back for a few days, and all of a sudden he's ready to unload.
He lets go with that one hand. He's very strong.
He also has led the National League in hitting when he was with Colorado, and also in runs batted in back in 2007.
Now Alan Craig, who's 1 for 3, and he rips one toward the hole, and he's got a base hit. So Calero, after striking out Stavinoa, gives up the long home run to Holiday, and now a base hit to Craig. And that is now 11 St. Louis hits.
Pinch hitting for the Cardinals, number 28, Colby Rasmus.
Now Colby Rasmus, who should be the regular center fielder for the Cardinals this year. will take a turn at bat. You see he's having a great spring. Became the regular center fielder about midway through last season, supplanting Rick Ankiel, who's now in Kansas City. And he takes a strike, and he was very outspoken this spring, Rasmus was, about how he felt frozen out by the Cardinal veterans last year, because the veteran players very much were in Ankiel's camp, and he felt a little secluded in that Cardinal clubhouse. And that, I'm sure that stuff happens a lot. It's very unusual, though, for a young player to talk that openly about it.
Well, it reminds me of Tommy Herr, when Tommy Herr, the Cardinals, his first year, he got sent down and he went down to AAA. And Tommy was very quiet, a little different kind of personality, and we really didn't give him a chance, the veterans on that team. And he went down, and he said in the papers how he was shunned by most of us, and that was the first time it got my attention that I was a veteran, and you can't do that. And of course Tommy came back up, part of our '82 championship team, and I made a point when he came back to be the first one to welcome him back in the clubhouse and befriend him. I mean, Ken Oberfeld was the second baseman. They traded Ken Reitz to the Cubs. They moved Obi to third, and Tommy took over at second base, and he was my mate over there on the right side of the infield. So that was a big lesson for me.
And he was a tremendous player for the Cardinals.
I know how tough it is when you're young and you're not welcome.
Strike three called. Rasmus down looking for the second out.
When I got called up with the Cardinals in '75, my rookie year, it was a veteran team, and I was Mark Hill and I were the only guys that were like 20 years old, and there wasn't a whole lot in common. It was a team with a lot of 30-year-olds.
Yeah, but
and I just didn't know where I fit.
Keith, that happens with a lot of.
I know. I understand. I understand. A lot tougher in your time.
Yeah, it was really tough. You, as a rookie, had one heck of a time even taking batting practice in my day.
You mean they just wouldn't let you hit?
That's right. You couldn't get in the batting cage.
I read that Yankee book, the book on the Yankees with DiMaggio, who pretty much ran that group, and it was the 1947, the Halberstam book, and I believe it was. And
toward the hole, flag down by Tatis, gets up, makes a beautiful play, and throws out Mather to end the inning. Brilliantly done by Fernando Tatis. And that gets Kiko Calero through the inning. 8-2 St. Louis. The Mets down 8-2. Cardinals make changes. Donovan Solano comes into play third base. Joe Mather moves from center field to left field. Colby Rasmus stays in the game in center field. And Mitchell Boggs will do the pitching for the Cards.
Well, Boggs, a lot of big numbers in the spring, folks, and it's just been a lot of wind, a lot of long ball. It's been a real windy spring. I can't remember it being so consistently windy. Getting back to that story about Jerry Coleman, who came up in I believe it was the 1947, the book written by David Halberstam. And he was shy, and for some reason, DiMaggio, who never really befriended anybody, was at a very tight circle, took a liking to Coleman, and Coleman said that you see Igarashi up in the bullpen right there, that Coleman said they wouldn't let him take BP, like you said, Ralph, and he was so shy he just didn't take it. And he said finally, after around a month, 3 weeks of it, Joe DiMaggio walked around the cage and said, "Okay, guys, that's enough. Let the rook hit," and they never bothered him again.
Wow. Coleman was a great flyer, and the Marine Corps had 2 stints in the Marine Corps like Ted Woodlands.
There's your Baltimore chop.
Oh,
Schumacher
nice.
makes a great play and throws out Castillo. One away.
Very nice. In between hop, too. Nothing you can do. You got to commit all the way. Beautiful. That's just good hands. Nice play.
That's a guy who transitioned from the outfield last year, looking like an experienced infielder.
There you go. The tough part of that play was the hop.
Hitting for the Mets, number 23, Chris Carter.
Now Chris Carter will come up for the first time. Carter, who's battling for that last bench spot with Mike Jacobs and Frank Catalanato. You see he's had himself a terrific spring with the bat. Catalanato's already appeared today and had a base hit. And Jacobs is a couple of batters away, so all will be on display today. There's a strike.
No, the same thing happened to me. When I joined the Pirates, I couldn't get into batting practice. They wouldn't let me in, and finally Bob Elliott, who was a big hitter on the Pirates at that time, finally let me in front of him. He said, "Go ahead, Rook." He said, "You take your turn ahead of me." It happened all the time, and this is in the early 40s, late 30s and early 40s.
I mean, that's almost hard to believe from a perspective of today, where everybody, gets as many swings as they need.
It was a little more organized now. It is now than it was then. The manager should have been taking care of that. He should say, "Hey, I want these people to hit, and they all have a turn."
I just think as time goes on, each generation, as this country has become more affluent, it gets a little softer and softer. It was a tough. People grew up in the Depression. There's some hard times.
Well, those guys were fighting for jobs.
Absolutely.
They were trying to protect their livelihood.
Right. That was it. There was really, and there was no money really being paid to anyone at that time. I know players are playing in the minor leagues and the lowest league are making $65 a month. And they were lucky to have a job.
Carter rolls one down to first. And Craig feeds Boggs for the second out.
Jonas Schwartz and Joe Beningo debate the Final Four and all the day's New York sports news as they go head-to-head with the Daily News writers behind the hottest sports stories on Daily News Live, presented by Citi, weekdays at 5 p.m. right here on SNY. Jason Bay is 0 for 2 and a walk. Did some damage in the fifth inning when he raced home from second base on an error, scored a run, and spiked the Cardinal catcher Jason LaRue on the arm, and LaRue was forced out of the game. And Bay hits one to deep center field. Back goes Rasmus to the warning track, looking up, and it's out of here. Jason Bay with his third home run of the spring. Boy, center field's a popular spot today. Holiday's hit 2 out there, and now Bay goes dead central to make it 8-3 St. Louis.
Jason Bay, one of the players that was with the Mets at one time in their existence.
High ball hitter, Ralph. Watch him. Look at that top hand come over. Boy.
He has good power. There's no doubt about that.
That top hand pops over.
Center fielder, Angel Pagan.
Now here's Angel Pagan up for the first time.
Slow down.
Did you hear that? That was Dave Duncan saying slow down. That means he rushed. Mitchell Boggs rushed his motion.
We saw Mitchell Boggs take a pounding in St. Louis. Was that last year or the year before? They left him out there on a day when they were short in the bullpen and gave up 11 runs. Out to right field, Nick Stavinoa is under it. And that retires the side, but not before Jason Bay picks up his third home run of the spring, and it's 8-3. Weekdays at 5:30 p.m. Brian Custer and Brandon Tierney debate the Final Four, plus take on the Hot 9 New York sports stories of the day in the Wheelhouse, presented by Pepsi. Weekdays at 5:30 only on SNY. Changes for the Mets. Chris Carter takes over in left field. Fernando Martinez is now in right field. Alex Cintrone is now at second base. That's just picked him up. Omir Santos is behind the plate. And Ryota Igarashi will take the mound for the 8th inning.
Well, hasn't been a very good ride for Igarashi. Look at the hits compared to innings. It's been, and let me tell you, I saw him in an outing here where he got hit hard. It wasn't allowed. a soft out. So came with great expectations and has had a tough time this spring. He was going to be the setup man.
Well, they first thought that Kelvin Escobar would be, but he's been unable to pitch this spring. Then they thought Igarashi, but he's been hit hard, and so everything kind of in a state of flux regarding that 8th inning. Igarashi can throw hard. He's got a good split, but he's just seemed a little messed up this spring. Matt Pagnozzi up for the first time, and he takes ball 1. Pagnozzi took over behind the plate when Jason LaRue got spiked on a slide by Jason Bay. The nephew of former Cardinal catcher Tom Pagnozzi. Trevor Miller up in the Cardinal bullpen. Veteran situational lefty. And Igarashi quickly falls behind Pagnozzi 3-0. And ball 4. So Igarashi issues a 4-pitch walk. Let's check in with Kevin Burkhardt. Kevin?
You know, guys, Jose Reyes, if you're just tuning in, played in a minor league game against the Cardinals AAA team in the other field, and he did some good things today. His first at-bat hit a long, we'll call it double, over the center fielder's head, and he was only supposed to run to first today, not make any turns. He did kind of jog and make the turn. Afterwards, he joked and said, man, it was hard to stop at first. I had to at least go to second. Then you see he ran very hard on a ground ball. Looked fine. He did that twice, and 2 ground balls, ran extremely hard to first base. No problem there. And thumbs up going off the field as the Cardinals put together another base hit here off Igarashi. Not the best of starts for him coming into this game, but here's the thing for Reyes today. So he went 1 for 5 at the plate. He ran hard a couple times. Did make an error, his only chance in the field. He feels like he's ready to go. Afterwards, he ran basically full board the Mets training staff, and I talked to Rick Slate, the Mets strength coach, and basically said the goal was, since this was the first time he was running in spikes, they wanted to do simulation, have him cut the base for the first time. They had one time when he ran past first, stuttered, and then continued on, trying to simulate and emulate game situations. He passed them all with flying colors. So right now, you're going to go back tomorrow and try and do it all again, a little bit better, a little bit longer, and see how he fares. But I still say at this point, guys, the Mets are going to be ultra cautious, and at this point, I still don't think that they're going to rush him for opening day. Now, that could change. If he has a good another couple days, maybe that changes. But right now, I still think they're going to take it slow. The good news is he said he feels great. So I think a pretty good day for Jose Reyes.
Certainly a step forward, getting him in a game against outside competition for the first time since last May. Donovan Solano swings and misses, and it's 0-2 to him as Igarashi tries to work out of 8th inning trouble. Igarashi, the 5th Met pitcher today. Oliver Perez lasted just 2 1/3, gave up 7 runs and 6 hits. And Solano down swinging, so a 3-pitch strikeout, and that's the first out of the inning.
There's that splitter. Breaking down, tough pitch to lay off. Ahead, why throw a strike?
For the Cardinals, number 3, Ruben Gotay.
Don't forget, tomorrow we're right back with you here. John Maine against Josh Johnson as the Mets and Marlins hook up here at Digital Domain Park in Port St. Lucie. 1 o'clock tomorrow on SNY.
Oh, I haven't been here. They changed the sign in the scoreboard. I've been out a week. It's up. Excellent. You think our director's asleep? You won't show the sign? Supposed to follow him. There, oh, there he is.
All you have to do is wait a moment.
A little slow. Just a shade too slow.
Oh, Dan.
Ruben Gotay pinch hitting, and he takes wide 2-0.
Very. Oh, just kidding. Dan, don't be so sensitive.
It's amazing how quickly they got the old sign down and got the new one up.
It really is.
Two 2-1 to the former Met Gotay. It's nice when you can throw that split on 2-0.
How about Bruce Sutter? He was the master.
And a little low, 3-1. Igarashi, 30 years old. As you look at the base runners, Pagnozzi and Schumacher.
No, Suter learned that because he couldn't throw a fork ball.
Right. And he didn't have much of the conventional stuff. And Bruce, to throw a split finger, you've got to have extremely long fingers. And obviously I played with Bruce and against him. Bruce had very long fingers, and he was really able to get his hands over and around that ball. That's all he threw. You knew it was coming. You'd throw it 95% of the time. He only threw it when he's behind the count.
In my day, the fork ball was a pitch that Elroy Face, a great relief pitcher for the Pirates. He threw that pitch for his strikeout pitch.
Well, it's certainly been proven that relief pitchers can survive with one pitch if it's good enough. The guy in the Bronx has been doing it for a long time. Ball forward, Gotay draws a walk to load the bases.
Wow.
You know, the guy in the Bronx has had unbelievable control in his major league career.
Right fielder Nick Stavinola.
Yes, but he just keeps throwing cutter after cutter.
That's all he does.
Both
but it's
sides of the
always
plate.
in a good place.
Yeah.
Always in a good place.
Eckersley, when he came out of the bullpen when he went to Oakland, and they shoved him in the closer role. He had tremendous cutter.
He was a good starting pitcher for a long time with the Red Sox, and then later on became a great relief pitcher.
Pitched a no-hitter when he was with Cleveland in '77. Had some well-publicized battles with alcohol, and looked like his career might be over, and really had his career resurrected when he was moved to the bullpen.
And he has turned it around.
And he's in the Hall of Fame. We get to see him once a year up there at Cooperstown.
Nick Stavinola up with the bases loaded, and he swings and foul tips one, and it's 0-2. Igarashi spent 11 years with the Yakult Swallows, primarily as a setup man. He had 1 year where he was a closer with the Yakult and saved 37 games, but did not start a game in 11 seasons, so strictly a relief pitcher. Ahead 0-2 on Stavinola. And the splitter grounded to third. Out at third. Tatis across the diamond. Not in time as a run comes home. Tatis took a lot of time getting rid of that ball. Probably misjudged Stavinola's speed. And now what do we have? Mets are running off the field.
No, guys.
Not sure why.
Did Tatis touch the bag?
Yes, he did. They couldn't have properly thought it was a double play. Here it is right here. Watch. A little wasted motion there. Not good timing with the footwork and the throw, and he's safe.
No, there's no question he was safe, but there was something involving Schumacher, who was the guy forced to third, that the Mets thought for some reason they had another out on the play, but they don't. So the run counts, and it's 9-3.
Look at that helmet. Smothers him.
This is Anton De Jesus pinch hitting. Old number 97 with no name, of course. And he chops one. Igarashi might have gotten a piece of it, but Cintrone to Adams for the force play, and the inning comes to an end. Tack on a run for the Cardinals. It's 9-3. Get your 2010 Mets tickets for opening week and other games throughout the season at Citi Field. Tickets start at $11. Call 718-507-TIXX or visit Mets.com now for your tickets. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Donovan Solano moves from third base to shortstop. Ruben Gotay stays in the game at third base. There's Ruben. And the veteran left-hander Trevor Miller takes over on the mound. Alex Cintrone up for the first time will lead things off. Cintrone now 31 years old. He's played for Arizona, for the White Sox, for the Orioles, and last year briefly for Washington. Mets picked him up in late February, and he rips a base hit down the left field line. So Cintron, with no name on his back, picks up a base hit in his first at bat. Francisco Rodriguez getting ready to pitch the 9th inning.
First baseman, Mike Jacobs.
Now Mike Jacobs will bat for the first time in the game. Well, the last time we saw Jacobs here at Digital Domain Park, he crushed 2 balls to right field.
And today they would have been long home runs. One out to right today, one the other day there was one straight in from right field.
Now facing the side-arming lefty Miller. Not an easy task for Jacobs, who has never been all that comfortable against left-handers.
Well, he's got a big swing, and therefore he can be pitched to. But boy, you make a mistake, he can put a world of hurt on you.
He got a job with the Mets when they hit a pinch hit home run in Colorado.
And fooled on that one. It's 1-1. Now Jacobs back with the Mets after a stint with the Marlins and with Kansas City, and hopes to be around to see his old team on opening day. By the way, the Marlins just beefed up their pitching staff today. They acquired Nate Robertson, the lefty from Detroit, for a minor leaguer. It had looked as though Clay Hensley was going to win that 5th starting job with the Marlins. He's having a great spring, the former Padre, but now it looks like Robertson will fill that spot instead and fill out what looks like a very formidable starting rotation for Florida. One and 2 to Jacobs, and the slider away. And you got Josh Johnson and Ricky Nolasco at the top of that rotation. Then you've got Anibal Sanchez and Chris Volstad, who has a chance to be pretty good. Throw Robertson in there, who's having a good spring coming back from arm problems.
Well, Johnson's one of the best pitchers in baseball.
Mets are going to have a lot of good pitching to contend with in their own division. The Braves have an outstanding starting pitching staff, led by Tommy Hanson and Jair Jurgens and Tim Hudson. The Nationals should be better this year.
The Nationals helped themselves a little bit with a little more pitching.
Well, they're going to have Levon Hernandez in their starting rotation. 3-2. Breaking ball fouled off. You know, the Phillies rotation is probably going to hinge on whether Cole Hamels can bounce back and have a big year, but obviously they've got the stud in the number 1 spot now with Roy Halladay. And I wouldn't be surprised if Pedro winds up in a Phillies uniform again in midseason. It's like last year. And Jacobs down swinging at the fastball, so Miller gets him. And that's the first out of the inning.
Breaking ball here, I believe. Oh, fastball away.
So 1 out and 1 on. Now Omir Santos will bat for the first time. Mets had a log jam at the catching position, with basically 5 catchers for 4 spots in the majors in AAA, but that problem got solved yesterday when Chris Coast was claimed on waivers by the Nationals. So with Barajas and Blanco at the major league level, you'll have Josh Tolley catching most of the time and Santos backing him up in AAA. At least that appears to be the plan right now.
Well, from the all-star rookie team to playing backup in Buffalo.
No. Mets will have a couple of pretty good insurance policies there. If you have a 34-year-old starting catcher and a 38-year-old backup catcher, there's every chance you might need another body over the course of the season. And Santos and Tolley will provide those. And O'Meara checks his swing, lifts a little pop-up down the right field line and foul ground, and Craig can't get to it. The Cardinals have let us know that Jason LaRue suffered a jammed hand on that play at home plate. They'll be reevaluated later today. But with Yadier Molina probably not going to be ready for opening day with a rib cage pull. If it's anything serious with LaRue, they've got to go to plan C. Just one more headache for Tony La Russa. His team will be heavily favored to repeat as National League Central champions this year. They've won it 7 of the last 10 years. Santos has himself a base hit. And Centron pulls in at third. So the Mets have runners at the corners with one out. And Fernando Tatis coming up.
Third baseman Fernando Tatis.
There was a question mark whether Tatis would be back. And the Mets took their time thinking about it and finally signed him. And boy, he had a difficult year last year. Came on strong in the end, Gary.
He really did. He hit over 360 from August 1st till the end of the season. It's this one out to right field. Stavinoa moving back near the wall, and he reels it in right at the fence as that wind just grabbed it and kept on pushing it away. Centron tags and scores. Sacrifice fly for Tatis. It's now 9-4.
If you're an outfielder out in right field, you got to play a little deeper today and don't drift. And there was a little bit of drifting right there by Stavinoa. And nice by O'Meara. Get a little further out. Get a little further out.
We've seen it a lot this spring on these days when the wind blows out. It's almost like the outfielders forget from inning to inning just how much that ball's flying. And instead of running back hard, they're doing what you said. They're drifting with the wind.
You can't drift. You can't take it for granted today. You can play in and right field with this wind because it's blowing in from left, and you've got to kind of shade towards the line in right field, and even your center fielder maybe can shade a little bit to the opposite field because that wind's going to take a fly ball. There you see this center. There's the setup. It's pretty much straight up. But you certainly got to play deeper in right field in today's with the wind today.
Russ Adams up for the third time today. And Miller throws the fastball by him, 1-2.
One of the big problems with the wind is only in the spring training days, but in Wrigley Field in Chicago almost all the year long. The wind's a big factor. You learn an awful lot about playing the wind there.
I remember I played a game in Wrigley when the wind usually blew from foul pole to foul pole, Robin. This was a day where it blew in straight from center field. It's a cold day. Straight, it hardly ever does that. I mean, it blew a gale. And Ken Holtzman was pitching. And by the way, it was a pretty good pitcher.
Pretty good pitcher, right.
Had a great hook.
Left-hander.
He had me 3-1 and threw me a fastball right down the pipe, and I crushed it. If it had been a windy day going the opposite direction, it would have been a bomb.
Over the scoreboard?
It would have been up there. I mean, I couldn't hit it. You know where they caught the ball? They caught the ball shallow center field with the shortstop and second baseman going out.
You know, a ball was hit over that scoreboard one time. You know who did it?
No.
Sam Snead with a 2-iron.
Yes, so,
with a 2-iron.
well, I would have been the second.
Sammy Sosa came close a couple of times. So hit one just to the left of that scoreboard, about halfway up.
There's a little cubicle out there that you can hit over. I had one over there off a guy named Chapman.
Keith, worst wind at Wrigley or at Candlestick Park?
Oh, Candlestick. But I'll tell you what, Wrigley can be brutal in April. It can be really brutal in
You
April.
can tell what the temperature of the air is going to be in Chicago by the wind. If it's flying in, it's going to be cold. If it's flying out, it's a heyday for home run hitters.
Yep. And it's a nice warm summer day.
3-2. Santos gets set to run, and Adams takes ball 4, and the Mets have 2 men on.
I haven't heard from my producer in a while. He just got in our ear. Did he fall asleep down there in the truck?
He's You know, he's trying to save it for the games that count.
Folks, when our producer, Greg Picker, gets a little bored, he's very rude. He eats with the microphone in his mouth. And I always have to go to the talkback and go, don't chew your food on the microphone.
And that's something, of course, you've never done. Should we run a text poll? Fans at home, have you ever heard Keith chewing on the air? Text A for yes and B for no.
I'm the greater sin because I'm on the air where you can hear me. No one hears Greg Picker.
Well, you do, and I do. But
trust me, you're not missing anything.
Fernando Martinez up with 2 out and 2 on, with the Mets down 9-4 in the 8th. If Greg was not speaking to you for a couple of innings, it's probably because he was tending to his other duties as commissioner of every youth baseball league.
Oh gosh, yes. It's that time of year.
1-1 to Martinez, facing Trevor Miller here in the 8th. And Fernando fouls back the fastball. Well, there have been 5 home runs today, but 4 of them have been hit by the Cardinals. It's a good day for Fernando Martinez, trying to get one up in that breeze to right field. Fernandez had himself a terrific spring, and hoping to translate that into a healthy season in Buffalo. I think it might be a little chilly in Buffalo in the opening weeks of the season.
Ken Oberfeld told me he managed in Buffalo last year. It was cold through the end of June. It was cold.
How about now Minneapolis, where they have an open air stadium? Wow. Again.
You know, once again, yeah.
Martinez does a good job laying off and working the count full. Can you imagine if they ever get in the World Series in Minnesota and they have to play late October, early November night games in an open air stadium?
Nope. They had that World Series in Colorado. It was a disaster.
Well, I mean, when the Twins made the series in '65, it was day games in the first week in October. Martinez down swinging. The inning is over. The Mets cash 1 run. And Ralph Kiner, as always, a joy to have you here. Thanks.
All right, good to be with you once again. And also, Keith.
Ralph, same here. I'd love to end.
Francisco Rodriguez comes on to pitch the top of the 9th inning.
Well, K-Rod, 6 innings of work, had the pink eye early in spring, missed a couple weeks.
But he has looked right in form as we get closer to the season. Alan Craig hits the first one in the air to shallow right center, but on comes Fernando Martinez to pick it off. 1 pitch and 1 out for K-Rod in the 9th.
It's the 9th, huh?
It is.
It's exciting. I am absolutely.
You'll be back tomorrow, right?
Yes.
And Ronnie will be here too.
Oh no.
It's
3 in the booth.
It's at the Triumvirate tomorrow and Thursday.
Jeez.
Hey, it's almost opening day.
Are you Caesar or Crassus?
I'm always in crisis. Colby Rasmus up for the 2nd time. Jason Mott, the 100-mile-an-hour right-hander, up in the Cardinal bullpen. Oh, and Rasmus breaks his bat, might get a base hit out of it into no man's land, and it falls.
Thank you very much.
And he sacrificed his weapon, and he winds up with a victory.
Well, we're totally jammed here inside out. But you know what? It's right in the perfect spot.
Couldn't have parachuted in any better. So that's 13 St. Louis hits. And now Joe Mather, who's gone 1 for 4 today. He was robbed of a base hit on a tremendous play by Fernando Tatis his last time up. And that'll tell you that Fernando's knee is feeling a little better. Those are plays that he was not able to make a few days ago. And K-Rod explodes one by him, 0-1. Mets have used 6 pitchers today. Oliver Perez started. Of the pitchers the Mets have thrown out there today, Sean Green looked the best. Sean turned in 2 scoreless innings today, striking out a pair and walking none. Elmer descends, gave up a couple of inherited runners. Kiko Calero a lot of runs, so did Ryota Igarashi. And now K-Rod trying to pitch a clean ninth. Nice changeup.
Well, Frankie's got the big motion like a big old locomotive. Going to throw it through a brick wall, and he does this to you. Very deceptive motion. Hides the ball. Boy, can he pull the string on it.
Anybody come to mind who you faced who had that kind of histrionics with their delivery and was able to pull the string like that?
Trying to think. I know the greatest changeup I ever faced. Oh, where's that pitch? That's
Strike
a good
3 called, and Mather down looking.
Good curve. The greatest changeup I ever faced was Andy Messersmith. And look at this curve. You just can't put it in a better spot. Look at that. Sweet.
K-Rod looking like he's in mid-season form. So 2 out of the inning, and now Matt Pagnozzi up for the second time. Drew a walk, scored a run in the 8th. Cardinals got 3 in the first, 2 in the second, and 2 in the third, and they have not looked back. They've hit 4 home runs today. In fact, the Cardinals have now hit 11 home runs in their last 3 games.
Oh, he's got a good curveball going today. Wow, that is nice to see. That is 2 in a row right there, outside corner, knees. With bite.
It's the glasses. In foul ground. The only guy with a chance is Martinez, and he gets over there near the bullpen mound. Nicely done by Fernando Martinez to end the inning. We head for the bottom of the 9th in St. Lucie. Mets down 9-4. Get an exclusive inside look at the Mets minor league teams with behind-the-scenes video and one-on-one interviews with top prospects and coaches on SNY.TV, your online home of all things New York sports. Last of the 9th inning. Chris Carter will lead things off for the Mets, who trail by 5. And he'll be facing the hard-throwing right-hander out of Iona College, Jason Mott, in the last of the 9th.
Mets left fielder.
There is Mott. And you see what he's done so far this spring. Mott last year in 69 games with St. Louis. Struck out about a batter per inning, and he misses high to Carter at 97 miles an hour. Chris up for the second time. He grounded out to first base in his only trip. Chris Carpenter started for the Cardinals, went 5 innings, allowed 4 hits, walked 6, but allowed only 1 earned run. Dennis Reyes worked a perfect inning. Mitchell Boggs gave up a run, and so did Trevor Miller. And now Mott trying to finish it off. Jason Mott from Iona, which is looking for a new basketball coach after Seton Hall hired Kevin Willard. Did a great job with the Gales for 3 years, and I'm really looking forward to getting together with Kevin Willard as he takes over the Pirates.
How was your season this year with the Pirates?
It was entertaining. It ended rather combustibly. But I think the Pirates are back on the right track now with their hiring of Mr. Willard. Meanwhile, St. John's today has hired Steve Lavin as their new coach. That is certainly in keeping with their desire to hire a big name. So the wheels are turning in the college basketball world away from the Final Four. 1-2 to Carter, who pulls it on the ground sharply right at Schumacher. And that's the first out. The York York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by IOTV. Get the best in HD free with IOTV. By American Airlines. We know why you fly. We're American Airlines. And by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Ruben Tejada will pinch hit. Tejada having himself a terrific spring. The 20-year-old who will be playing shortstop in Buffalo this year unless the Mets need him early in the season. If Reyes isn't ready, Alex Cora left today's game after getting hit in the hip by a pitch. Certainly hope he'll be all right and ready to go by opening day. But if not, Tejada waits in the wings. And Mott dents the outside corner. 0-2. Tomorrow it's the Mets and the Marlins here in Port St. Lucie. John Maine against Josh Johnson. 1 o'clock on SNY. Misses with the slider. 1-2. I was a catcher when he played at Iona, and you can still see a little of that catcher's delivery. Hit the other way. Nice diving stop. And Craig gets up and throws him out.
Nicely done. I like that.
Well, Craig was not known for his defense. Makes a fine play.
Ball's hit hard. Nice dive.
Center fielder Angel Pagano.
And so the Mets are down to their final out of the afternoon. With Angel Pagan coming up, batting for the second time today. Fly to right in the 7th inning. The Cardinals 9 runs and 13 hits, including 4 home runs. The Mets 4 runs and 7 hits. The only homer by Jason Bay. That came in the 7th. A loss today, and the Mets would slip to 500 on the spring. They are 13-12-1. I think 500 is probably the perfect spring record, since the games don't count anyway. You don't want to.
Ooh, that girl, let me tell you, that just almost clipped her. Wow.
Fortunately, it hit a seat.
She didn't get her hands out. That went right between her and whoever she's sitting with. Wow. Very fortunate. Wow.
Don't text while the game's going.
That's right. Only we can, because we can multitask.
You can multitask. Some of us have to take it step by step. I was going to say, you don't want to lose too many games in the spring because you don't want to feel bad about yourself.
Right.
But you don't want to win too many and waste them.
The record means nothing. You kind of want to. It's nice to kind of turn it on towards the end, but I think you want your players. You want your offense clicking, beginning to click, the last week of spring.
Well, I think the Mets would much rather right now see their pitching start to click.
Yes.
It's giving up 8-9 runs a day gets a little old after a while. Ball 4, and Pagan's on with a 2-out walk. That keeps things going. And it'll bring up Alex Cintrone, who doubled and scored in his only at bat in the 8th. The Mets began the day with a spring training ERA as a team of 4.99. And that's not going to do too much for you when the season begins. So here's Cintrone, who batted right-handed in the 8th inning and pulled a double down the left field line. Now bats left-handed. One down to first base. This should do it. Craig makes the play, and the ball game is over. So the strength of 4 home runs, including a pair from Matt Holliday, the Cardinals pound out a 9-4 victory.
Well, Mets were never really in this ball game. Oliver Perez, 2 1/3, gave up 7 runs on 3 home runs. Mets fell behind early, 7-0, and it was all over after the 3rd.
There you see your American Airlines game summary. Rough day at the office for Oliver Perez. 3 home runs among the 6 hits he allowed. Matt Holliday hit a pair. Jason Bay homered for the Mets as the Cardinals win it 9-4. We'll come right back to Port St. Lucie in just a moment. The final score as the Cardinals beat the Mets on a Tuesday afternoon in Port St. Lucie. On Wednesday afternoon, the Mets and the Marlins, 1 o'clock start on SNY with John Maine pitching against Josh Johnson. So the Cardinals win it today 9-4 despite a Jason Bay home run. Now for Keith Hernandez, Kevin Burkhardt, and our entire SNY crew, I'm Gary Cohen. We'll talk to you tomorrow from right here in Port St. Lucie.